touchdowns. We welcome you back live to the NFL today to one of New York's most visited tourist attractions, the Primetime Corner. Here it is.
Hey, everybody, what time is it? And that's what I thought.
Hey,
why are we here?
A lot of folks are going to see the Bills and the Dolphins coming up shortly here on CBS. You went down to Miami this week. Did you run into Mr. Marino down there? Did you give him a call?
I don't even know if I have Dan's home number.
Oh,
He didn't come
No,
by.
you know,
I live 5 minutes away. He doesn't even call me.
Prime time was big time, wasn't it?
Right.
Big time, yeah.
I went to Miami this week, and it was like visiting a mass unit. The Dolphins' offense is hurting big time. But as for the defense, it's healthy, but about to face a quarterback who can really hurt it.
When you watch Buffalo on film, what's the first thing jumps out at you?
Drew Bledsoe is unbelievable.
You're right.
Explosive. Bledsoe is playing better than we've ever seen him play.
I don't see how New England just leave him in the division. That was ignorant. I mean, go to Cincinnati.
He challenges no matter who it is.
He's going to challenge Sam Madison and Patrick Surtain.
Right, Surtain now.
Madison.
No, Madison.
Madison.
It
He's going to
doesn't
challenge
matter.
the best cornerbacks in the game.
He has the arm, and he has the confidence to do it.
Back to the matter. Back to the matter.
How do you stop this team, man?
It's all up to him.
He put it on us. They always do. It's always on the D-line, but we do need to get after him, though. We put some pressure on him and force him into some turnovers.
Maybe blitz a little
Make him uncomfortable back there. Quarterbacks get uncomfortable. They just, just throw it to
I
you.
like that blitz.
Pushed out of the pocket and set. What a play by the Miami defense. No, he did not get in.
We call it stealing plays. We tweak the defense to what they're trying to do, just subtle changes in our coverage. And when teams are going to pick their poison as far as just wanting to throw the football against us, we got some athletes in the back end that are going to pick some passes.
What's different about this defense this year? Nobody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about Ricky and the offense.
That's a big difference right there, though. We get on the field when we're fresh and ready to go, and we're not wore down late in games. So
I think we're
it's gonna
averaging
be-
like 50-something plays a game, and last year it was about 80.
But now the offense is hurting. Ronnie Gasson is out after wrist surgery. Chris Chambers suffered a concussion last Sunday. And with Jay Fiedler's broken thumb sidelining him, the responsibility of the offense falls on one man.
Emotions are running a roller coaster right now, but I'm loving it. I've been waiting for this. It feels like 3 years, but I know I've only been here 2, but I've been waiting to play for a long time.
Excited.
Oh, ecstatic.
Good team.
Great team. There's no quitting this team. And
Buffalo gonna give you 60 minutes.
we're gonna give them 60 minutes. The same 60 minutes they trying to give us, they better start worrying about what we're gonna give them for 60
What
minutes.
about the personal battle with the other quarterback across the field?
I only wish the best for them, just not on this Sunday. This Sunday is my turn.
We're all behind him. I'm fired up. I'm ready to see what he can do. You make a mistake, who cares? The other way, we'll go out there and get it back for you.
The defense realizes it would have to take it up a notch. And if that's what it takes, so be it.
Our guys know how to win. We've been in the fourth quarter in several games over the last 3 years, and we've found a way to win.
So in the fourth quarter, Bledsoe driving down the field.
Blitzing.
Thank you.
Oh, baby, what a play. What a play by the Miami defense. Absolutely unbelievable effort by the Dolphin defense.
Well, what about Bledsoe? You have a little feeling there about Bledsoe, Molds, and Price in that group?
Molds and Price, I mean, they're practically leading the NFL. But you know what? Sam Madison, Patrick Surtain. But the trump card is Reed against Jamar Fletcher. Opposing teams have been finding Jamar Fletcher. And this is going to be... Hold on, I'm sorry. I have never seen a brother dress up a dog. That's a first. I've never seen a brother dress up a dog, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hey, let's not worry about the game.
Go
It's
ahead.
a dog.
I'm sorry.
The bottom line here, though, seriously, this is why the Buffalo Bills went out and got Drew Bledsoe. Same thing like the reason why Tampa went and got John Gruden is so that they can win games on the road within the division. I think this is a huge
He
opportunity
has struggled,
for them.
though. He has struggled in Miami when he plays the Dolphins.
He has 44% in the last 3 games he's completed, 7 interceptions, 1 touchdown. But Moulds and Price and the way these guys have been playing, look for some huge plays in this game.
Hey, guys, a big development over the weekend. Chris Carter.
You know, he just thought about it. This is an opportunity for him with Miami to have another shot at the Super Bowl and to come in this situation and being able to contribute, his family being right there really close. He's just real excited about it, and I'm jealous, to be honest with you. I would love to have that opportunity.
He could actually go to the Super Bowl without you as a quarterback.
That's right.
Oh, my
they can do it,
goodness.
and they
How
can
about
win
that?
too. And that's where really why I think he's coming back to play. He's just he's a great guy and a great player.
One reason, because the Dolphins are up to a great start, and he sees a team
got a
that could give him that chance
and
to play in the Super
contribute,
Bowl.
yes.
All right, guys. Clinton Portis of the Denver.
A noisy sellout, 75,000 to see the AFC Eastern rivals, the Bills and Miami. Miami 5-1, but quarterback Jay Fiedler injured. So the call is answered by Ray Lucas, who has thrown only 3 passes in 2 years as a Miami Dolphin. How do you think he'll do today, Dan?
Well, Dick, I think a lot of times when the backup is called upon, there's a sense of panic. That would be misplaced here with the Miami Dolphins. Ray Lucas has proven with his stint with the Jets, the guy can play in the NFL.
And Drew Bledsoe, a new home in Buffalo, and is he ever producing?
Well, Drew Bledsoe, after playing very little last year, right now, no quarterback in the NFL is playing the game at a higher level than Drew Bledsoe. He is red hot.
Welcome back to NFL's following presentation of the National Football League.
NFL Miami, the AFC's highly rated show this season. Critics raving about this drama. Today, stand-in Ray Lucas gets his first Miami starring role. And what a supporting cast. Running back Ricky Williams, no saint. He's carved defenses for over 600 yards. Miami's defensive duo, Zach Thomas, Jason Taylor, will attempt to solve the Buffalo Bills' high-scoring offense. They're talking early Emmy for quarterback Drew Bledsoe and his co-star receiving core of Eric Moulds and Peerless Price. The investigation scene is Miami for the Bills and the Dolphins. With Rondé Ganson and Chris Chambers, the starting wide receivers, out of this game for Miami, the load will fall on the broad shoulders of former Heisman winner Ricky Williams. He's gained over 600 yards this season. We're going to see plenty of Williams. Long-standing old AFL rivals, the Bills and Dolphins. For more, let's go down to the field and Bonnie Bernstein.
All right, Dave Wanstead, new starting quarterback, 2 new receivers. What does Ray Lucas need to do to get this team to a win today?
Well, I think the biggest thing that Ray needs to do is just go out and execute the offense. You know, just take it one play at a time and not try to do too much. He doesn't have to prove anything to anybody on this football team, on this coaching staff, or in this stadium right now.
Coach, thanks very much. And Dick, interesting to note, because of injuries, the Dolphins only have 3 wide receivers today. So what do they do in that third down package? 3 wide receivers. Dave Wanstead told me I have enough confidence in Ricky Williams' ability to catch the ball. My tight ends and my fullback, Rob Conrad, we're going to be just fine.
All right, thank you, Bonnie. And there are the AFC East standings, with Miami matching San Diego with the best records in the AFC, 5-1. Buffalo with a victory, right back into the thick of this Eastern race. New England with a bye week at 3-3. Miami has enjoyed great success in their past meetings with the Buffalo Bills. Home team with the obvious advantages. Miami has won the last 4 in this series. As you can see, Olindo Mare is teeing it up. It'll be Buffalo on offense first.
I'll say this about that home field advantage, Dick. That home field advantage for both clubs, I think, is more prevalent later in the season, when it's real hot down here and you're not used to it, and when it's colder in Buffalo. This time of year, I'm not so sure the home field advantage counts what it does in November, December.
Murray gets it started. A long end-over-end kick to Charlie Rogers, and Rogers, one of the better return men in the league, takes a knee. It'll be Drew Bledsoe and the Bills starting at their 20-yard line. Against this Miami defense, the game plan for Buffalo.
The key to the game for us today is to win the turnover battle. We can't turn it over on offense, and our defense has to go get it. Then when we have a chance to make big plays with Eric and Peerless, we've got to hit them.
And does Bledsoe have some weapons on that receiving end, with Eric Moulds leading the league in catches, Peerless Price leading the league in yardage receiving. Larry Centers, the venerable fullback who leads everyone in history in catches, and Bledsoe, not a runner, down after an 8-yard pickup, but a flag is down as well.
And right off the bat, it's holding against Buffalo.
And Buffalo playing without Mike Williams, their rookie right tackle, the hamstring injury.
Holding, 75, offense, still first down.
The Bills lead the league in penalties. That's their 56th. Here is the defense for Greg Williams. Check that for the Miami Dolphins. And Jason Taylor and Zach Thomas, of course, are the men that you'll be watching, along with the great corners Sam Madison and Patrick Surtain, one of the better defenses in the league.
Well, the matchup between Moulds and Price and Surtain and Madison, one of the best marquee matchups in the game.
Bledsoe 1st and 20. Fires complete to Peerless Price, and Price is shirt-tailed by Patrick Surtain after a gain of about 8. And a change of pleasantries. It'll be 2nd down and 12.
Well, this time working from the slot position, Peerless Price, and this is just a possession reception. That's all we've got going here. And here's Jason Taylor. He's dropped down into a 4-point stance. He said it helps him come off the ball. Said, I've never come off the ball better. He drew the holding penalty the first play of the game against Jennings. He goes to the 3-point more in the run situation.
2nd down and a dozen. And it's to Travis Henry, and Henry fighting his way to get to the line of scrimmage as Tim Bowens, the 320-pound defensive tackle, had invaded the Buffalo backfield. Bowens, Big Bo, a Pro Bowler, run stuffer, and he did his job on that one. Travis Henry, big game last week in the victory against the Houston Texans, but as you can see,
that baby
5
right down there.
fumbles.
That's critical, especially on the road against the division's toughest opponent. I'm sure all week long Buffalo worked on trying to strip the ball from Travis Henry.
3rd and a dozen for Bledsoe. Steps up, and then he's smothered for the sack. Rob Burnett appeared to be in there for the Dolphins, along with Wale Ogunleye.
Just a straight 4-man rush, and this is your dream as a defensive coordinator. Can you make the pocket collapse without having to commit a 5th rusher or a blitzer? And that's exactly what the Dolphins got that time.
Credit Jay Williams, also a part of that sack. And on to punt is Brian Moorman, averaging over 47 yards a kick. Dedrick Ward, the ex-Jet, stands at the Miami 37. High driving kick. Ward at the 30, 40, and down at the 43-yard line. Tackled by Philip Crosby. 54 on the punt, 13 on the return. So from the man from Rutgers, 30-year-old Ray Lucas, here's his game plan today.
If the Dolphins are going to beat the Bills today, this is what has to be done. We need Ricky to run the ball all over the field. We have to control the clock, keep the ball out of Drew's hands, no turnovers, and our defense has to play stout.
Well, you know he's going to have a lot of practice handing off to Ricky Williams today. With a shortage of wide receivers, Dave Wanstead will use a lot of tight end, double tight end. Rob Conrad is the fullback. Lucas comes out to throw and fires incomplete. It was on the money, but dropped over the middle by Dedrick Ward. Buffalo defensive alignment. Here are the starters. Big Pat Williams, the man to watch in the middle. He'll have a lot of responsibility trying to check the running of Ricky Williams. The linebackers led by London Fletcher, the ex-St. Louis Ram, led the Rams in tackles the last 3 years. And a very young, inexperienced back four. Nate Clements, the best of the secondary for Buffalo. Playing without Antoine Winfield, he had arthroscopic surgery this week. That's Ricky Williams plowing the midfield. A gain of nearly 7 before Coy Wire, the rookie safety from Stanford, could make the tackle.
Well, Ricky Williams, take a look at his production so far this season, where he ranks in the NFL, and that's he has been rejuvenated. He's playing about 15 pounds lighter than when he was in New Orleans last year, admitting that he finished the season at 252 pounds and now down in that 230 range. So a good 15 to 20 pounds for Ricky Williams, and it shows.
Third and a long 3. Lucas dumps it out, and it's complete to Robert Edwards, the former New England Patriot, the feel-good story of this NFL season, who's come back after that severe knee injury suffered at the Pro Bowl a few years ago.
Dick, I don't know how to improve upon your statement of the feel-good story of the year. It really is. Anyone who wasn't mortified at how Robert Edwards was forced to leave the game with that horrific knee injury over at the Pro Bowl festivities in Hawaii, and the way he has worked, none of us could ever comprehend how hard he's worked to get back into the NFL.
Used as a third down back by Wanstead. He gets the first down. Here's the quick throw. Incomplete, intended for Robert Baker. Baker, a free agent a couple of years ago out of Auburn University, has yet to catch an NFL pass. Nate Clements covering.
Well, Ray Lucas back in the pocket for the Miami Dolphins, and he's going to face this pressure coming from the Bills. They bring 5 rushers, and he doesn't get a chance to step up into the football. He doesn't see coming, and that ball just sailed. I can't remember, Dick, the last time I saw a football team that lost its quarterback and both starting wide receivers in one game like the Dolphins did last week at Denver.
Lucas with a toss to Ricky Williams, trying outside. Is he bumped out of bounds? He did step out at the 40. Check that, inside the 40 at the 37. Chris Watson at the corner got a shoulder on it.
I just can't recall that the top 3 guys receiving wise and the quarterback are all idle. Jay Fiedler out for 4 to 8 weeks. Aronde Gadsden may be out for the rest of the season. McKnight and Chambers because of the concussion. And look at the inexperience. No touchdowns between any of them. And Jay Fiedler, that right hand where he had a screw put in at the base of his thumb. And it's a real loss for the Dolphins, but I'm telling you, Ray Lucas could play. It's just how long will it take him to settle down?
They fake the pass, and they snap it directly to Robert Edwards, and Edwards has the first down. So he's 2 for 2 on third downs today. Aaron Schobel, the defensive end for Buffalo, made the stop. You know, going back to that Denver win and one of the outstanding games of this NFL season, the fact that Fiedler, he broke that thumb with 3 minutes to go and played with it and still led his team to victory, got him in position for that Maury field goal at the end of the game.
And a lot of credit to Norv Turner right there for calling a little chicanery. And Tim Ruddy with a very deft touch on the ball, snapping it directly to Robert Edwards. Good looking play.
First down at the 30. Lucas fires complete to Desmond Clark, and the big tight end has it first and goal at the 5-yard line.
Well, Desmond Clark, a rather large target at 255 pounds plus, playing wide receiver, split all the way to the outside, and you wouldn't expect him to beat a defensive back one-on-one, but that's exactly what he does to Prelo. Just, that's not a wide receiver, folks. That's a very large tight end who made that kind of a move, split out.
Former Denver Bronco gets it first and goal just inside the 5. Ricky Williams hit, breaks a tackle, gets a yard, maybe even 2 after he was hit. Coy Wire coming up to make the stop from his safety spot. Williams with 7 touchdowns this year, 6 of those rushing, and is the number 3 rusher in the league behind Priest Holmes of Kansas City and LaDainian Tomlinson, San Diego's young running back. He has brought some merit in that trade with New Orleans, the number 1 pick. Goal to go, most in the NFL. These two teams, when they get inside the 10, get it in the end zone. Lucas, touchdown as as he guns that one complete to Randy McMichael, the rookie tight end from Georgia.
Randy McMichael gets his 4th touchdown of the season. And again, the rookie Randy McMichael gets his 4th touchdown of the season. This guy has exploded onto the scene here in the NFL. A 4th-round draft choice. How about that?
Murray for the extra point. And Miami takes the opening kickoff in a very impressive march downfield and leads it 7-0.
On CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 37. Budweiser, delivering beer at its best with a crisp, clean, and refreshing taste known only to the king of beers. And by Ford, no boundaries.
You can understand why Dave Wannstedt and Miami fans excited about young Randy McMichael. He's 247. They say he'll play at 260 easily. The rookie from Georgia with the 4-yard touchdown reception to cap a 57-yard drive on the first possession for Miami. And then Murray knocks it through the end zone. And Drew Bledsoe and Buffalo again will have to start at the 20-yard line. Miami has outscored their opponents 51-16 in the first period.
Let's look at this touchdown. I want to watch this right here when we freeze it. There are 4 hands on the football right there, and McMichael wrestles it away from Nate Clements. It's impossible to have better coverage than Clements had.
Bledsoe goes to his tight end, Jay Remersma from Michigan, and Remersma doesn't, and a first down, the first for Buffalo.
That job by Randy McMichael was just a superior performance of taking the ball away from Clements. Of course, it all started by the fact that the Miami offensive line gave Ray Lucas, after a, just a little bit of a play action fake. But what a strike by Lucas. But this rookie plays like Kellen Winslow. I don't want to, be guilty of too much hype, but this guy sure doesn't look like a rookie.
First down at the 31 for Bledsoe and the Bills. Play action. Bledsoe looking long. And he's got Eric Moulds out there, incomplete. Moulds had done a good job of getting behind Patrick Surtain. Surtain limping a bit.
Well, this is going to be a post move and then the up. You see, there's the fake post, and that's enough to get Surtain to bite. And there's a little shove and some separation by Eric Moulds, one of the game's most physical receivers. He actually enjoys the bumping and the contact. And if that ball was about 2 feet shorter, that's a very long completion for the Bills.
Travis Henry on 2nd and 10. Pushed out of bounds by Zach Thomas. And by Jamar Fletcher, the 2nd-year corner from Wisconsin. Zach Thomas, leading tackler for the Dolphins the last 5 years out of Texas Tech. He was too short. His arms were too short. And all he's done is come into the league and be one of the best players on defense on any team.
And he said, I fell off my chair back in April when I saw where Bledsoe was traded to Buffalo.
Not in our own division.
Didn't even leave the division.
3rd and a long 4. Bledsoe shotgun. Sidearms it incomplete to Larry Centers, and Buffalo will have to give it up on a punt. Miami has allowed the Bills just 1 first-quarter touchdown in their last 15 games. 7-0 Dolphins are going to get it again as Brian Moorman from Pittsburgh State of Kansas will kick it to Dietrich Ward.
Everybody knows Pittsburgh State's in Kansas. Not.
Division II stronghold. Long count. Oh, it's a fake. And it's Morris back to Moorman, and that didn't work at all. Miami takes over at the 31. Veteran Brock Marion was all over it.
Wow. I've always been a believer, if you're going to run a fake on special teams, the quicker you run the play, I think the more opportunity you have to maybe take the defense by surprise. You noted how long this took to set up. No chance of getting outside the contain as they look at running the option play. And Brock Marion all by himself just completely destroys this play.
Looked as if the only chance would have been had Rodgers cut inside of Marion rather than trying to go outside and pitch it. So the Dolphins with a 7-0 lead, and they try a fake, and this one fails. The Buffalo Bills. Pat Williams falls on the fumble. Ron Edwards, who was in the middle of that reverse to knock the ball free, and Pat Williams recovers. The two defensive tackles collaborate. Uh-oh, Lucas is hurt. We'll check his condition when we return.
I'm a Ford truck man. That's all I drive.
And Ray Lucas fell on that left shoulder.
Well, it would have helped if they would have blocked Edwards. Here's Edwards right here. He just goes right upfield, and he is just all over Ray Lucas. Ray, before he can even make the handoff on the reverse to Ward, and you can see how he gets driven into the ground by a 305-pound defensive lineman. And Sage Rosenfels is warming up on the sideline.
Who's never thrown an NFL pass. He's acquired this year. Give us to Travis Henry. And Henry a couple of yards to the 40. Zach Thomas and plenty of Dolphin company. Sage Rosenfels was the 4th-round pick of the Redskins a year ago out of Iowa State. Acquired this year by Miami for an undisclosed draft choice next year. And he is raw. But they say very bright. And he said, in fact, there was a comment this week. He said, you know I'm next up and I'm ready. And we may see. Lucas, meanwhile, not drawing a lot of attention from the medical staff, so maybe he's okay. 2nd and 7. Bledsoe underneath, and it's complete. Fearless Price tackled close to a first down. Zach Thomas around the ankles, along with Jermaine Haley.
If you're reading body language, Ray Lucas looks like a guy who's coming back in the game, standing there with his hands on his hips. And you're right, Dick, the lack of the medical staff swarming around him kind of looks like he's going to come back in. The report from the Dolphins, he got a stinger. It's probable that he will be back, and it looks like he'll be there for sure.
Meanwhile, they'll measure for a first down for Buffalo. The ball out at about the 47-yard line, 47.5.
For those of you unsure of what a stinger is, it's where you get a nerve pinched and it makes your entire arm go like someone's sticking 1,000 needles in it, and it may last for 10 or 15 or 30 seconds. And sometimes when you move your head in a certain direction, it catches that nerve, and ba-wham, there it happens again. That's thus the term stinger, and it does sting.
You can see Lucas, in fact, just testing it out with a little neck turn. Now the Bills on 3rd and inches. Send Josh Reed to the right with Fearless Price and Eric Moulds to the left. Travis Henry, the running back behind Bledsoe. Flag down, and this play will not come off, and it's going to be against Buffalo for a false start. Johnny Greer, our referee.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 79, offense, 3rd down.
Pro Bowler Reuben Brown guilty. Let's go to New York for an update.
All right, thank you, Dick and Dan. And the Chiefs take the opening drive, 66 yards. And, of course, it's Priest Holmes from a yard out, his 12th touchdown of the season, 7-3 Chiefs. How are the Stone Crabs down there in Miami, Dick?
Well, Priest Holmes continues to rack up touchdowns for Kansas City. Now 3rd down and a long 5 for Bledsoe after the penalty. He throws underneath and somehow got it in there for a first down to Josh Reed at the Miami 49-yard line. This rookie out of LSU has a reputation throughout his collegiate career as a big play receiver.
Well, Jamar Fletcher breaks off of his coverage and comes right in front and comes oh so close to getting in on. That's Fletcher flying across from right to left. Arturo Freeman, the safety that's got the coverage. Look at Fletcher and how close he is. Boy, that's a heads-up play by a guy who starts off on the outside guarding somebody else and then breaks off and almost gets a big play.
And Bledsoe, what a throw to thread that one in there. Bledsoe underneath. Complete at the 45 to Eric Moulds, and Moulds turns upfield to the 43. And a gain of about 7 before Jamar Fletcher can make the stop.
And regardless of whether this drive ends up in points for the Buffalo Bills, it's already been a success as they moved into Miami territory. They had a couple penalties deep in their own territory. They're already down 7-0. At least now, from a field position standpoint, it's improved dramatically for Buffalo.
Well, the Bills and their fans know this is a team that can score. Travis Henry finds a hole. He's open on the sidelines at the 30, and he's all the way inside the Miami 20, bumped out at the 18-yard line by Brock Merriam, the last white jersey in his path, as Henry, who is over 500 yards rushing on the season and 7 touchdowns. 25 on this play, Dan.
Well executed play. Big Marcus Sullivan gets out front and gets a good block, and that's moving a lot of guard around the corner at 320 pounds. And then Reed comes inside. He makes the play. Hey, you get that, and of course you see Freeman yelling that he was held.
From the 18, Bledsoe misses Larry Centers, who was wide open at the 10-yard line, and Bledsoe knew he had himself a possible touchdown there.
Larry Centers, a lot like the old Energizer Bunny. He just keeps going and going. 13 years in this league already. More receptions than any running back in history.
765. Keith Byers is second at 610.
He's 175 ahead. Now, how's that for a career? What kind of red zone production the Bills have had this year? 75%, best in the league.
2nd and 10. The draw to Henry. No, it's a fake to him. Then a throw to the sidelines, complete to Eric Moulds, and Moulds covered well by Patrick Surtain. A gain of about 5 to the 13.
We just saw that graphic about Buffalo. Let me tell you something. When you convert, you sneak inside the 20-yard line, and 3/4 of the time you end up in the end zone. That is unbelievable. That is tremendous offensive production.
The other 4 times a field goal, they've been denied no points, only twice.
Well, that quarterback rating by Bledsoe's of almost 108. That explains why they're getting in there that often.
3rd and 5. Look for Centers in this situation. That's who Bledsoe looks for. Flags fly as Centers fights inside the 10-yard line, but will the catch count?
Oh, I think we had some massive holding going on in there.
Well, illegal block.
Yeah, we had Dolphin defensive linemen flying all over the place.
Personal foul, chop block, number 74, offense, still 3rd down.
Well, that's Sullivan, the right guard. We just talked about him. Here he is right here. Let's go ahead and watch the chop. Oh, and that's exactly what that is as he comes back to the inside on Rob Burnett. You can't engage a defensive lineman high and then come back in and go in below the knees like that. That was a good spot by the officials, a good call.
The penalties have plagued Buffalo throughout the year. They've seen more yellow flags than any team in the league, and now they're taken out of what might be a fairly easy field goal range. Here's the screen, complete to Centers, and he is drilled by Zach Thomas, who laid in waiting. Jay Williams was applying pressure on Bledsoe.
I'd be a lot more comfortable trying to run a middle screen if I saw number 54 on the sidelines. You know Zach Thomas is going to sit in the middle. Look how he reads that. And that is just a play that's dead from the very beginning. A textbook tackle, head and shoulders right at the belt, wrap up and plant by Zach Thomas.
So Mike Hollis, who has been 10 for 13, has a 46-yard attempt. It's long enough, and it is good. Oh, Hollis delivers, the veteran from Idaho, and Greg Williams' Bills have their first points of the game.
On CBS is sponsored by Wind Talkers, now available on VHS and DVD from MGM, and by T-Mobile. Get more minutes, more features, more service.
And so Buffalo avoiding what could have been a tragic sequence where their fake punt failed, but on the very next play, Edwards forcing the fumble, Williams recovered, and Bledsoe led his team downfield for the 46-yard field goal to make it 7-3. That's Travis Minor, number 28 from Baton Rouge, same school as Warrick Dunn. Both went to Florida State, both were 28. And he comes all the way up on the fly to the 17 on the short kickoff. Finds a crease, and he's to the 36-yard line. Tackled by Jason Bostic. Ray Lucas appears to be okay. He'll be back in the huddle for Miami with the Dolphins in front, 7-3. Look at Jason Taylor, the defensive end of the Miami Dolphins. They say having a Pro Bowl year. In his weekly NFL.com column, our buddy Phil Simms will be talking about adjustments teams have to make as the season progresses and how they can't be afraid to make them. Read more of what he has to say. NFL.com or on America Online. Enter keyword NFL.com. Lucas with a handoff to Ricky Williams, and he just barrels right through two defenders, and Coy Wire finally gets him to the grass.
Hello. I'm Ricky Williams, and you're not. How's this for a little power football, folks? Nothing fancy about this. Ricky Williams goes, look at the body lean, like Mike Allstott lowering that shoulder, and what a powerful man Ricky Williams is. And now that he's playing lighter, the quickness from college is back. He is the total package.
6 on that carry, and he gets it right back with the middle. And Wire has to come up from the secondary again to make the tackle, and it appears that Williams has enough for a first down. Can't help when you see the 34 and his body size. Earl Campbell just jumps out, and of course they both were University of Texas Longhorns, and he's developed a relationship with Campbell back in Austin.
Yeah, he certainly has. It's only happened lately, but he every time he goes back to Austin, he makes sure that he gets together with Earl. They have lunch, they visit, and of course, if you're Ricky Williams, a youngster in this game, I can't imagine a better mentor and role model than a guy like Earl Campbell.
First down for Lucas. He fires complete. McMichael up again to Spirit and knocked out of bounds deep in Buffalo territory by Eddie Robinson. Boy, does this kid have great hands.
Well, and again, I keep telling myself when I watch him play that he's a rookie. I mean, and he's a 4th-round draft choice. How's that possible that this guy sneaks around? And, you know, he was light. He was only 228 pounds, and he's not real fast. But what a set of hands this guy has. In space, he runs beautiful patterns, and his body movement and his ability to adjust back to the football, it's a gift, and he's got it.
26 yards on that play to send Miami closer to that Buffalo goal line. The end of the first quarter here in South Florida, 7-3 Dolphins. We'll be back after this message. Welcome back. A reminder, Monday on CBS, when you take your daughter to her first rock concert, what's the most embarrassing thing you can do? I know my kids didn't like it when I whistled. Don't miss the funniest new comedy of the year, Still Standing, Monday after Raymond.
I'd like to hear you whistling to a rock.
Ray Lucas faking left and then rolling right. He's an excellent runner, and he tucks it away. He's down to the 21. I guess he's not injured. He took on the defense. Newman and Wire with the stop. What do you have for us, Bonnie?
Well, Dan, you were just singing Randy McMichael's praises. Just think about the fact that he was the 8th tight end drafted this year when I tell you that he leads all rookies in his position. And you look at the graphic, there were 3 first-round tight ends. It was Jeremy Shockey, Jeremy Stevens, Daniel Graham. They didn't hold a candle to McMichael. Yeah, he came in light, but Dave Wannstedt said what doesn't show up on the stat sheet, how mature he is and how ready he is to play in this league.
And Bonnie now with 4 touchdowns to lead that group as well. On second down, it's Ricky Williams, and that's what the Buffalo Bills want to try to do, to get those inside men to force Williams to angle toward the sidelines. He's a different runner when he's not plowing straight at you.
And we just looked at that graphic about Randy McMichael, and the thing about this kid is for the Dolphins how excited they have to be, because he really was drafted as a project. He was too light. They knew they had to put some bulk on him. He's 228. Well, he showed up at 240, and Dave Wannstedt told us this guy actually gained 10 pounds during training camp, and he said this kid, he's got an upside that's beyond belief. But nobody gains weight during training camp.
Lucas on third down throws. It's intercepted. And that's a big play. The first interception of the year. And Nate Clements gets a block and finally down at the 25-yard line. That was one of the incredible statistics going into this game. Here's Buffalo, 6 games in the season, didn't have an interception. Well, Clements has stopped the Miami drive with the first of the year. The Bills' Nate Clements, the #1 pick out of Ohio State a year ago. He had 3 interceptions as a rookie, one of those for a touchdown. Has the very first for the entire team of this 2002 season. That stops Miami, and Bledsoe and the Bills trailing 7-3 take over at the 24, and Travis Henry threw a good hole out to the 29-yard line.
Well, Nate Clements just has single coverage here on James McKnight, and watch out. Ray Lucas either doesn't read the right coverage because it ends up being complete double coverage as the safety comes over as well.
Dietrich Ward will make the tackle.
Oh, yeah, watch this. Oh. I think not. Dietrich Ward, a wide receiver, if you're going to come up and make the tackle, I suggest getting a little lower, a little more knee bend maybe.
Second down and 4. That's a good protection. He's going long. A man wide open is Moles. Eric Moles at the 20, the 10. Touchdown, Buffalo. Oh, my. 70 yards for the score as Buffalo grabs the lead.
How does Eric Moulds, after all these years, continue to get past corners and safeties? You can see right there that Sam Madison lets him go, thinking that Brock Marion is going to be there to take away the deep outside of the field. And Eric Moulds just outruns Brock Marion's coverage, or lack thereof, for a Buffalo score.
Moulds' 5th touchdown catch of this young season. And Dave Wanstadt's Dolphins fall behind for the first time as Hollis in for the extra point. Good job by Mormon. Snap was offline. So Buffalo has struck 70 yards. Bledsoe to Moulds, and the Bills are in front 10-7. Eric Moulds, a veteran from Mississippi State, the Pro Bowl receiver. He's 6'2", stretched out his 204 pounds to pick off that 70-yard pass, the longest by Bledsoe as a Bill, and the longest against Miami this year. Very high, very short is Hollis's kick. Jed Weaver, the tight end, catches it, and he catches the defense at the 30-yard line. Let's see how Moulds was open, Dan.
Well, just straight cover 2 defense. That means that Madison here is locked up on Moulds, but he knows he's got Brock Marion back here, who should have the deep outside of the field. Because at a point right here, Sam Madison just lets him go because he knows he's got help to the outside. Marion way late getting over there, and Drew Bledsoe, you know, Dick, it looked like one of my kids asking for a $10 bill, sticking out the palm, and you lay it on it. That's right where that football was. An absolutely perfect pass by Drew Bledsoe.
10 points off turnovers, and now it's Ricky Williams charging for 5. Big Pat Williams down low to support Billy Jenkins with a tackle. And college football next Saturday here on CBS. The Dogs and the Cats, Georgia and Kentucky at 3:30 Eastern Time, 3 o'clock for the Olympus College Football today. Miami, second down and a long 3. Williams the tailback, he gets it again, caught in the backfield, and Pat Williams playing a big first half. He'll celebrate his 30th birthday next Thursday. Well, they're celebrating somewhere. Tell us about it, Jim Nance.
Yes, they are celebrating, Dick, in Baltimore. It's Chris Redmond to Todd Heap. And the Ravens lead 7-0 over the Jags. Let's go back to Dick and Dan.
I would have answered you, Jim, about the stone crab. I was trying to get that mustard sauce off my chin at the time.
Well, I didn't know where to go eat, but I saw some guy carrying a sign on the street that said, "Eat at Joe's."
Yeah, we went for that. That key lime pie. I just hated to turn that down. 3rd down, and Lucas to throw. Flushed, throws, complete. Right at the 41. That's good enough for a first down to Robert Edwards. That's the 3rd time in this first half Edwards has picked up the first down on a 3rd down play.
Well, Ray Lucas gets some great pass protection by his offensive line. Look how much time he has to stand, to look. He's really just moving on his own, and then he just fell down when he threw it. I don't know if he was expecting somebody to hit him or whatever, but boy, what a job by the guys up front, giving Ray a lot of time to find his secondary receivers.
10:40 left in this first half. Miami trailing 10-7. First down at their 41. Lucas is 5 for 8 passings. Scrambles, throws, completes to Dedrick Ward. A flag down as the tackle is made by Chris Watson of Buffalo. Lucas helped up. He was hit as he threw. Notre Dame rookie Grant Irons.
Illegal contact. Number 21. Defense. It's declined. First down.
They'll take the play, and a good gainer into Buffalo territory at the 44.
That's Chris Watson, who's had a real tough year. See the contact. That's way beyond the 5-yard limit, although some of that contact initiated by Dedrick Ward. Well, right there, Ray Lucas picked up and planted. And that is really not. That's Grant Irons, a rookie defensive lineman. You're not supposed to pick up a quarterback and plant him like that.
Here's Ricky Williams outside, breaking tackles, shredding, powering his way near another first down.
Oh, that's a lost start by a running back, putting his shoulder down to finish off a run. As Chris Watson will tell you, we saw him get the penalty on the play before, and now this is just, this is a little whipped cream on top of the sundae for the Dolphins. Whack.
This is where the defensive players say, hey, wait a minute, how about the helmet to helmet when the offensive guy hits me?
Yeah, well, the question here is who's playing defense and who's playing offense? Ricky Williams right there playing both.
It's just short of the first down by inches. And second down, right back to Williams. He stopped right at the line of scrimmage. We'll see how they measure it. And Grant Irons, not drafted last spring from Notre Dame. Of course, the father played 10 years, a linebacker with Oakland and Cleveland. And Gerald Irons, what, 96 or 86? I'm trying to. Grant is carrying 96. I think his dad wore that number as well.
Of course, his brother was an All-American linebacker at the University of Michigan, so a lot of football in that Irons family.
3rd and 1. Miami has been only 6 for 12 this year. Give it to Williams. He stopped, tries to fight forward, and it'll depend on the measurement. London Fletcher, the middle linebacker, shooting the gap. And based on the initial marking, that should be enough for the first down. And it took the second effort by Williams to get it.
Well, everybody in a blue jersey crowding the line of scrimmage. They're not expecting anything fancy here, and they didn't get it. See the kick out by Conrad, but again the Buffalo defensive line got underneath the Miami offensive line and pushed them back a little bit, and that first contact by Williams was a good yard behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, first down at the 34. Ricky Williams breaking tackles. Ooh, as he toppled quickly. It's coming up from the secondary was Nate Clements.
Well, Nate Clements was faced with the choice. Am I going to go high or am I going to go low? Watch from the left, and I think he made the choice we'd all make. He's going to go low. There he is down around the knees of Ricky Williams, and he did a good job of getting under the pads. He got underneath that lower shoulder of Ricky Williams and took his legs right out from under it. Smart tackle.
You bet. And Williams 8 more yards, 2nd and 2. Travis Minor giving Williams a breather, has a first down at the 21-yard line. Eddie Robinson, the tackler. First down, Dolphins. Are you winning your fantasy matchup, gang? Well, get real-time scores, real stats for your fantasy players at CBSSportsline.com or on America Online. Enter keyword CBS Sportsline. Miami driving into field goal range, trailing by 3. This drive nearly 50 yards after the Buffalo touchdown. Bledsoe to Moulds of 70 yards. First down, Minor again to the 18-yard line. Travis Minor, who's gained just 67 yards this season, spelling Ricky Williams.
Well, that's by design, Dick, as Williams is now, sauntering back out onto the field. Dave Wannstedt doesn't want to wear Ricky Williams out early in the season. He knows it's hot down here in South Florida, and he wants him to be fresh in December, and the way this team is playing, January. So this is by design to give Ricky some rest.
And fresh in the fourth quarter, Ricky says that's when I steam, even in the hot weather. No pun intended.
Right.
Second down at 7. Here he comes. Burrows inside the 15 to the 14-yard line, where it'll bring up 3rd down and 3 following the block of his center, Tim Ruddy. Ruddy, one of the interesting gentlemen in this league. He's got a 54-inch chest. He's got a 20-inch neck, and he's got an IQ that's just as big. He was an all-A student throughout high school, nearly all A's at Notre Dame as a mechanical engineering major. Now he's a financial consultant.
Just another offensive line.
There you go. You invite them to the party. Those are the guys you want there. Lucas was at a quarterback draw. Well, it sure works, and he has a first down at the 4, but a flag is down at the 15.
Almost certainly holding against Miami. Yeah, when it's tossed by the umpire right into the crowd.
An awkward play as it started.
Holding. 76. Offense. Still 3rd down.
Marcus Spriggs, who is playing because of the ankle injury to left tackle Mark Dixon.
Of course, Marcus Spriggs, a former Buffalo Bill, very excited to be getting this chance to play against his old teammates. Spriggs right there on the left of your screen. 76. He's going to see, that's just it. When the defender spins and tries to go back to the outside, and, that's a classic case where it was really a good penalty, because no way would Ray Lucas have gotten out of there if it wasn't for the hold.
Well, 3rd down and long for Lucas, who looks deep, then throws incomplete. He skipped at that time to the tight end Randy McMichael. Billy Jenkins, a backup safety there on the coverage, and out comes Olindo Mare and the field goal unit. Mare, who missed only 5 field goals, 5 in the last 2 years. He was 47 for 52. Amazing percentage, but he's missed 4, as you can see, this year. Had a plantar wart removed from his right toe, and he says it's been bothering him. This one is 41 yards. Nothing wrong with a toe on that one. And Miami has tied it at 10. 4:57 left in this opening half. We're back with Mike Arnold, our director, Lance Barrow, our producer, Dick Henber, Dan Deerdorf, Bonnie Bernstein, in South Florida, where these original AFL teams back in 1961 meet once again. Charlie Rogers deep as Mare approaches. The game is tied at 10. Just under 5 minutes left in the half. This one aimed to the far side, and Rogers gets a chance at the 20. And he scoots out across the 30 to the 32-yard line. That's where Drew Bledsoe and the Bills will put it in play with a score tied at 10 here in South Florida. Fort Lauderdale hotel room this morning. Sun rising, and the sky actually was the orange and the green aqua blue of the Miami Dolphins colors. What a way to start a day. Glad you're with us. It's tied at 10, and Travis Henry tries to get outside. No way, as he's cut off with the pass by Patrick Surtain. Tonight on 60 Minutes, married priests, married to the church, no, married to their wives, father to their congregation, no, father to their children. That's tonight on 60 Minutes. Gain of a yard, 2nd and 9. Bledsoe's 8 for 11 in this first half. The one long touchdown. Off play action. He's going long again. He's got Moulds out there. Incomplete. No, that's Peerless Price this time, who makes the dive at the last minute. Sam Madison, they're working on the 3-time Pro Bowler at that corner.
Well, one thing about a quarterback like Drew Bledsoe, he will go for it. I mean, this guy will stretch the field, and oh, how that scares a defense. See, that is going to, even though that's an incompleted pass, that's going to affect the way Sam Madison and his coverage is all game long. And Drew Bledsoe is going to go deep. And boy, as you practice all week long as a defensive back against a guy like this, it changes everything.
That press coverage that Madison and Surtain like to use, you get by that, you're in trouble. Bledsoe buys some time on the scramble and now tucks it away and is tackled from behind by Rob Burnett, the veteran defensive end, shy of the first down.
Ooh, if Drew would have just made the decision, I think, to run for the first down about a second before he did, I think you could have easily run for the first down. But he's looking to throw. That's what the guy is. He's a thrower, not a runner. But if he would have made up his mind there, I think, to go for it and tuck it in and go, he'd have beat Burnett to the corner. Good hustle, though, by Rob Burnett, a defensive end.
And what a good block by Larry Centers, who really cut down Zach Thomas. Dedrick Ward back inside the Miami 20. Mormon booms it toward the sidelines. And it squirts into the end zone. He missed by about 1.5 yards from a perfect punt. 62 minus 20. Miami has it at their own 20-yard line. Well, tomorrow on CBS, don't miss TV's #1 new show. CSI Miami takes you to a crime scene that looks like an accident until the clues lead somewhere unexpected. That's tomorrow night, CBS, America's most watched network. And coming up on the Nextel halftime report, Jim, Dion, Dan Boomer, special guest Tiki Barber have all the scores and highlights for you. That's coming up on the Nextel halftime report. 3:18 before halftime. Tied at 10 here at Pro Player Stadium. And Ricky Williams another carry and right into those big tackles, Edwards and Williams, and a gain of only 1. And Pat Williams was there first.
They have a ring of honor around the stadium here where you have a name and a number, but for Dan Marino, he has multiple numbers. Touchdown passes, yards, completions, attempts. And I'll tell you something, the guy wasn't that bad, was he?
No, he really wasn't.
I know he's sitting back in our studio in New York, and Dan, it was fun to be here. Lucky I got to see a lot of your games. So did you, Dick.
Amen. On 2nd down and 9, Ray Lucas fires to the sideline, incomplete. Overshoots his receiver, Desmond Clark. In fact, it was October 9th, 1983, the Marino era began. In his first career start, Dan threw 3 touchdowns. However, Dan's debut spoiled by Bills quarterback Joe Ferguson, who threw 5 touchdowns in a 38-35 overtime win. Marino showed what was to come. He was 19 for 29, 322 yards and 3 touchdowns. Well, he made 13 a lucky number in Miami. On 3rd and 9, Lucas, lots of time, and throws out. Intercepted by Clements again. He's heading for the end zone. Touchdown, Buffalo. Ill-advised throw by Lucas. He looked and looked, and Clements had baited him, was in position, and then Schobel hits Lucas as he throws, and Clements gets an easy score.
Ray should have trusted his instincts, which were probably to take off with the football once he couldn't find anybody open. He's got a crease right there. That's when Ray Lucas is at his most dangerous, but instead at the last minute he decides to try to get the football and down to McMichael, and just, I'm not even sure the hit caused that bad throw. Just a poor decision.
Hollis adds the extra point, and in a way Miami was worried about that statistic that the Bills had not picked off a pass all year. You knew that was going to change. Clemens has both in this first half, and that one for a 29-yard score, his 2nd NFL touchdown.
Now Ray Lucas does get hammered just as he's releasing the ball, but you know it's coming. You just can't stand there that long. But the hit by Aaron Schobel, I don't believe, causes the interception. Ray Lucas is delivering the football anyway, and by the time he throws it, Nate Clements is already in front of Randy McMichael. So all Ray did was throw the interception and get hammered at the same time. That really was about as bad as a play could be for Lucas.
Back to Buffalo, and the fact with no interceptions and only 4 fumble recoveries, only 4 takeaways in 6 games, and still be 3-3 made Greg Williams, the head coach, feel pretty good about things. And they've got 3 turnovers today, and maybe, at least at this point, the turning point of the half was when the Bills, trailing 7-0, failed on a fake punt at their own 31-yard line, setting up Miami for a possible 2-touchdown lead, and then Miami fumbled on the very next play on a reverse, and that set the Bills back on course.
I think Ray Lucas just has to remember he needs to be more of a caretaker than he does a playmaker.
Hollis, this one high but short to Travis Minor at the 20. And dragged down from behind at the 35-yard line by Sammy Morris. Well, incredibly, the Bills had gone 7 full games without an interception, and the last one was by a lineman. Phil Hansen, now retired, against the Jets on December 30th, picked one off against Vinny Testaverde.
That's a long dry spell.
It's just hard to believe when you looked at that statistic and said 0 after 6 games. But Clemens has turned it around with 2 picks today, plus the fumble recovery by Big Pat Williams.
Well, they did have one last week that was nullified because of the holding.
Ricky Williams barrels out to the 37-yard line, a gain of about 3, and Aaron Schobel, the second-year defensive end from TCU, makes the tackle as it ticks down to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes left in this opening half, and Nate Clements' interception has given Buffalo a touchdown lead. Come back last Sunday night, Jay Fiedler, the Miami quarterback, with 3 minutes to go, fractured the base of his thumb. He's out from 4 weeks or more. Lucas hadn't played much, and in a way it is shown.
And it's a decision making is where the rustiness is showing, and he's got to just stop forcing the football. You're at home. You've got one of the NFL's best defenses behind you. What you can't do is turn the ball over. So at the risk of playing conservative, I think that's what Ray Lucas has to do. And I'm back to my line of being a caretaker, Dick, not a playmaker.
2 minutes to go, and Lucas with a chance to make amends off play action. Fires incomplete. A diving try by Randy McMichael, the tight end, covered by Eddie Robinson. Well, the 2 interceptions were punishing to the Miami hopes. One came deep in Buffalo territory where they would have had at least a fairly easy Maury field goal, and then of course the other in Miami's half of the field where Clemens picks off the pass and goes 29 yards for a touchdown. So that's at least a 10-point differential. He's a very popular guy, isn't he? Everybody we talk to, they love this guy in the locker room, on the field. He's intense, a great competitor, good teammate.
It's impossible to be around him and not be impressed and to like him.
On 3rd down, he throws underneath, and it's complete to McKnight, James McKnight. And he has a 1st down catch, only his 3rd reception of the season. And again, if you're just joining us, Arondé Gadsden and Chris Chambers, the 2 starters for Miami at wide receiver, are out with injuries today. Timeout. 7 left. That's the first timeout spent by Dave Wanstead. It's 17-10 Buffalo, and the Dolphins with it at their own 47-yard line. And Lucas has taken some pretty mean hits as he's thrown the ball.
Yes, he has. Some of them have been because he has held on to it in a long time. Like last time, it was just an excellent pass rush by the Bills that got some pressure, and luckily it was a short pattern that allowed Miami to pick up the 1st down.
The long arm fake, and then Lucas winds and fires, and Ricky Williams wasn't looking for the ball, and Miami's fortunate that Eddie Robinson didn't pick that one off and head to the end zone.
Ricky just completely oblivious. You know, he carries out his fake and then goes out into the flat. Eddie Robinson goes with him, but Ricky never even considers turning around and looking. Yeah, it is a help when they look for the ball. I think Ricky just took a nap on that play.
Oh, Lucas at 2nd and 10 with exactly 90 seconds left. Fires to this side. Dedrick Ward did no catch. He was juggling as he went out of bounds in front of Chris Watson.
I think it was a double whammy. I think he was juggling, and I don't think he got 2 feet down either.
Keith Newman was after Lucas on the throw.
Yeah, that second foot landed out of bounds as well. It really was a good throw by Ray Lucas in the sense that the coverage was there and he threw it to the point where only his receiver had a play on the ball. And that's something Ray has just got to do. He can't afford another interception.
Hey, Chief, I like backside there.
Out of the shotgun on 3rd and 10. Here comes the rush. He's going to run it. And then he throws at the last minute. And the hit made on Randy McMichael, who was able to bounce off like a pinball. And then Nate Clements came up to finish London Fletcher's job.
Ray is being reckless with the football. I mean, he's throwing that ball just as he gets hit. He has to be careful that he doesn't end up fumbling the football in a situation like this. He's trying to figure out where to go, and boy, just at the last minute, he dumps it off. How's that for keeping your feet? Ooh, this McMichael kid, boy, did he just get wrapped.
Bills are young, but they're ambitious today.
They are hitting all over the field, and the majority, we've seen Ricky Williams deliver a couple big hits of his own running the football, but the majority of big bangers in this game to this point have been delivered by the Buffalo defense.
The Bills used a timeout here to stop the clock. 1:11 left as Rodgers waits for Mark Royal's punt. And it is a beauty, or does it go through the end zone? No, on the 1-yard line, inside the one. A perfect kick by the veteran Royals.
That's football's equivalent of a hole-in-one. That was just an absolutely perfect punt.
One of the Bills trying to handcuff Scott McCarron from downing the ball. Rodgers trying to stop McCarron, but the kick, boy, how do you get it trained to bounce laterally like that? Now the ball, as they spot it going the other way, the back end of the ball is almost on the Buffalo goal line. Bledsoe in the shotgun. How much of a chance do you take with a touchdown lead? He whips it sidearms to Larry Centers, and the veteran fullback who has been to 3 Pro Bowls. What a pass receiver he is, as his quarterback smiling.
Now, I've seen guys take chances before, but that's having confidence in your quarterback. When inside a minute, when you've already got the lead, you're going to let Drew Bledsoe pass his way out of the end zone. It would have been real easy for Buffalo to run out the clock.
2nd and 1. 54 seconds. Underneath, incomplete. Eric Moulds unable to hang on, covered by Patrick Surtain. And a reminder again, Nextel halftime reports coming up with Jim Dion, Dan Boomer, special guest Tiki Barber. They have the scores. They have the highlights of the early action today. That's the Nextel halftime report. Those guys have a lot of fun back there in New York, don't they?
Yes, they do. Patrick Surtain came off the field, and here's the risk for Buffalo. They don't convert on 3rd down here. Miami's going to get the ball back in pretty good field position with a couple timeouts remaining.
And Bledsoe with a quarterback sneak, even though Zach Thomas had stepped right up over center, and it's enough for the 1st down. And 41, they have not stopped the clock, and slow getting up. Maybe, and now he will down it. Bledsoe. That stops it at 33 seconds. 2 timeouts left for the Bills.
I have to admire the confidence that Buffalo is showing inside their own 15-yard line and wanting to run every play they can inside the first half. This is unusual. Greg Williams Ball Club showing a gambler's spirit here.
Well, he's a defensive-oriented coach. Williams, a boy, he's wide open offensively today. Leading 17-10, still deep in their own end, and Bledsoe in the shotgun. Holding call is going to go against Buffalo as Bledsoe slides down at the 10-yard line. And as Drew drew the ball back, one of the Dolphins almost took it out of his hand.
I love aggressive football, and this is going to go against Miami. But this is redefining it at this stage of the first half by the Buffalo Bills. They've got a long way to go to get into scoring position.
You know, as you watch the Bills and how they score and like to move the ball, and we've seen Kansas City 3 times, if they were matched against each other, first to 50 wins.
Can you imagine that?
Personal foul, face mask, number 91, defense, first down.
Jay Williams, the defensive end from Wake Forest, into the face mask.
Right in the middle. He's going to reach out with his left hand and just grabs Bledsoe's face mask. Not able to hold on, and Drew gets out of there. You know, you talk about Kansas City playing Buffalo. If you said the first 1 to 50 wins, what would we do in the fourth quarter?
Or even the second half. You're right. Boy, they're fun to watch. So now at the 25-yard line with 24 seconds. Bledsoe steps away and then is caught from behind. And it's Rob Burnett, the veteran who played most of his years with the Cleveland Browns, picking up his 2nd sack of the season.
Man, I don't get it. I don't understand why they're doing it.
And in this final minute and change, Drew Bledsoe starting from inside his 1. Buffalo using timeouts, taking chances. Bledsoe in crowds where the ball could be knocked out of his hand, but so far no disaster.
And they have at least 50 yards to go just to get into long field goal range.
15 seconds left in the half. Been knocked down 5 times, sacked a couple times in this opening half. Steps up and just flips it into the flat to Larry Centers, who ducks out of bounds at the sticks. 36-yard line. It's enough for a first down. 8 seconds left in the half. Mike Hollis, the field goal kicker, his longest ever this year, 54 yards.
And the Dolphins will have at least 3 or 4 people 25 yards or more from the line of scrimmage at the snap of this football. They're already deployed all the way back here. Take a look at this. It'll be awfully tough in a blue shirt to get past somebody in the Miami secondary.
And not enough time to throw a pass long enough to get out of bounds or call a time. Bledsoe winding up, then throws back over the middle. Oh my, that was a dangerous pass, and Jamar Fletcher and Arturo Freeman had his eyes on it.
Well, I must be missing something because I'm not sure what they were trying to do from their 1/2 yard line.
Well, create excitement, perhaps. They gave us that. And Fletcher zeroing in on a possible interception. And that is the end of the first half. Nate Clements, the story for Buffalo. Bonnie.
All right, well, Dick, Greg Williams talked to us yesterday about how he thought his defense turned a corner in the second half against Houston. Coach, how about those 2 interceptions and how they created chances for your offense?
Well, we really thought we were going to have to score on defense once in the ball game. We'd like to be able to do it on special teams, too, before the ball game's over. This is a tough, hard-fought game. It's a rival game, and it's a fun game to play in, but we need to continue to play and keep putting pressure on Ray Lucas.
Talk about pressure. When you look at that last drive, Miami able to put pressure on your quarterback. How do you need to make adjustments in that regard in the second half?
The big thing is that Drew will get the ball out of his hand a little bit quicker the second half, but I like it when it's in his hand because he's taking the ball down the field. We've had a couple big plays down the field and near misses. Hopefully we can connect this second half.
Coach, thanks.
And Greg Williams, of course, going forward from inside his own 1 at the end of the half, has a 17-10 lead and does indeed have one of those defensive touchdowns. Coming up next.
2 touchdowns and a field goal. And again, I'm sure Dave Wanstead talking to Ray Lucas in the offense, saying we've got to be more careful with the football. We're playing head-to-head with Buffalo, but we can't make those mistakes and think we're going to win this ball game.
Miami will get the first chance in the second half. This is Travis Minor at the 20, 30, 2 men to beat now at the 40. He's at midfield. And finally in the Buffalo territory, the 46-yard line, Charles Johnson, the wide receiver, makes the tackle.
Good-looking wedge, and Minor just right in behind it, and then you could see what he saw, how it opened up in the middle, and then the quick break to the sideline. And boy, this is exactly what the Dolphins needed to start out in Buffalo territory.
And Travis Minor, 215 kickoff return yards last week against Denver. Won a 66-yard return. That one was 46 yards. So he's becoming a real weapon for Wanstead. Oh, Lucas barely got the handoff as he tripped, giving it to Ricky Williams, and big Pat Williams in the backfield of Miami again. Let's go down to Bonnie Bernstein.
Well, Dick, Lucas's 2 picks in the first half led to 2 Buffalo touchdowns, and Dave Wanstead told me at halftime, I said to him flat out, Ray, you're trying too hard. Here are your 2 options. Either throw the ball or tuck it and run. Now, Lucas yesterday said was the biggest difference between him now and back in '99 when he started 9 games for the Jets. He said back then I'd make a mistake, then I'd make 2 or 3 more. Now I realize I just have to take a deep breath and move on.
Well, that maturing process, and of course he's been on the sidelines for so much the last 2 years. He goes long, but too long for Robert Baker, the free agent wide receiver from Auburn, who's seeing duty today for the first time because of the injuries to Gadsden and Chambers.
Yeah, this is a case for Miami where, you know, you have an injury as we get Johnny Greer here to tell us what the penalty's about.
We have 2 fouls on the play. Illegal hands to the face. Number 75, offense, is declined. Holding, number 79, offense, will be accepted.
Go ahead, Dick. Tell me who 79 is.
I was checking my roster. I hadn't recalled one. There is a 75, Todd Perry.
Well, he got the first call, the hands to the face, but as to who Johnny Greer meant to single out for the second one, unknown.
There's a 71. Sometimes that 1 gets smudged to look like a 9. That would be Todd Wade. But nevertheless, 10 yards marked off against Miami. Lucas plants, throws down the middle. Open is the wide receiver James McKnight, and McKnight corralled by 3 Bills defenders. Prelo and Clements among them, along with Billy Jenkins. Good throw by Lucas there.
Well, that was a very decisive throw by Ray Lucas, who plants, sees the opening. He does get a good crease downfield, a good lane to see McKnight, who breaks off to the inside, working against Nate Clements in man coverage. And then McKnight, here's what I'm talking about. See how it opens up in the middle where he really does get a good vision lane down the field. And boy, that's one good way to overcome a penalty, with a good sharp throw by your QB.
26 yards on the play. Ricky Williams met in the hole and able to power his way for a couple of yards. And Pat Williams is playing a terrific game. There's Aronde Gadsden, who has a very severe wrist injury. Apparently will have surgery next week, and there's strong rumors here that this will be his last appearance as a Miami Dolphin.
Well, a lot going on here, as Chris Carter is going to come in tomorrow morning and take a physical. If he passes that physical, he and the Dolphins have already agreed to financial terms. So Carter's going to join this team, it looks like. And you're right, that put Gadsden's future in real question.
Lucas off play action throws, and it's intercepted, and it's the hat trick for Nate Clements, his 3rd of the game, as Lucas overthrows Randy McMichael. Yeah, that will spin. And Clements, who had 3 all of last year, had 3 in this game today.
Well, this is clearly a case of Lucas expecting McMichael to run some type of a different pattern. McMichael gives up and the ball sails.
So another Miami drive ends deep in Buffalo territory with a Nate Clements interception, his 3rd from the 8-yard line. Travis Henry hitting the backfield and able to get back maybe a yard on the play.
Well, I was wrong in what I said about McMichael, who's right here, who's going to come down to the 15 and run an out. I think he runs the right pattern, and Ray Lucas just completely overthrows him. Because watch the break right here. Look at McMichael. He's wide open. And that ball just way over the top. And Ray Lucas knows he had an open guy, and just somehow the ball got away from him. So McMichael, I think, was right where he should have been. Just a bad throw by Ray Lucas.
3 interceptions in a game ties a Buffalo record. 8 others accomplished it. Mark Kelso the last 10 years ago. Underneath, incomplete to Eric Moulds. Right off his chest is Jamar Fletcher, the defender.
That's back-to-back drops for Moulds. Remember, right at the end of the first half, he ran a pattern coming in from the other direction, and Bledsoe hit him with the football, and he couldn't hold on to it.
3 catches, one of those a 70-yard touchdown pass in the first half. So 3rd down and 9 for Buffalo, and the Miami fans trying to help the defense. A lot of 54s in the crowd. from his goal line. Flips it down the middle, incomplete. And a flag down in the secondary. Josh Reed was the target Bledsoe was trying to find.
And this will probably be a real backbreaker against Miami, because this will be an automatic first down.
Illegal contact. Number 27, defense. First down.
Oh, the Bills' drive continues. On 3rd and 9, they get the illegal contact.
Well, it was a physical matchup between Arturo Freeman. That's on the other side, Sam Madison, and Moulds working on that. So look at Moulds. He grabs Sam Madison's jersey and pulls him down. And at the same time, Sam Madison's teammate on the other side of the field, Freeman, is getting called for the illegal use of hands.
First down at the 14. Henry gets the corner and more. And finally knocked out of bounds at the 36-yard line. Make it the 34. He touched the sidelines. Arturo Freeman coming over from his strong safety to make the hit. 20 yards for Henry.
Good work up front by the Buffalo Bills. Reuben Brown, the All-Pro, coming around. You see he gets a block, but then it's really Sam Madison losing contain. Josh Reed, let's see what he does at the point of attack. Yeah, he pins Brock Marion to the inside, meaning Madison is the only defensive back to the outside who has contained, and he just lost it.
Well, that wins favor with coaches. That's twice Reed has thrown a good block. Flag down as Henry weaving his way to midfield. Tackled at the Buffalo 49 by Brock Marion.
Well, Jason Taylor was 2 steps into the Buffalo backfield when the ball was snapped.
Side. Right defensive end. It's declined. First down.
So back-to-back runs by Travis Henry of 20, and then another solid gain of 14 on that one.
And Jason Taylor making every effort, thinking pass to get upfield as quickly as possible. Got a very clear head start. And there's Brock Marion, who ended up making the tackle on Henry, and he's going to have to leave the field.
Veteran from Nevada who has been so solid since coming here to Miami. Played for Jimmy Johnson in Dallas, and Johnson wanted him here with the Dolphins. Great leader. May lead the league in having a large household. He has 6 children. Does Brock. He designs and decorates his own home. A very fascinating guy. Homeschooling. The wife is home. Can you imagine homeschooling 6 young kids? Now that is some wife and mother.
Well, he acts like a guy that took a blow to the head. He really trying to clear the cobwebs, I think.
Meanwhile, Travis Henry, complimenting this high-octane passing game of Buffalo, now has 76 yards. There's a little flat pass incomplete. Henry trying the one-handed catch as we go to New York and Jim Nantz.
All right, fellas, love those stone crabs at halftime. And how about this play from Denver's Brian Greasy? Shannon Sharp splits the middle. He's going 82 yards, his 52nd career touchdown, but his first in the last 12 games. Ties it at Kansas City. Let's go back to you.
All right, Jim. Boy, Shannon hasn't forgotten how, has he?
No.
There's the Western standings, where the Chargers playing at Oakland later. Denver with a loss to Miami last Sunday, and Kansas City a very solid 3-3.
And Oakland goes to Kansas City next week.
And we'll be there for that one. Henry off the handoff goes to the 49-yard line, a gain of just 2. Bring up 3rd and 8. And speaking of next week, some terrific games set for you here on CBS. We'll be at Kansas City for the Raiders and Chiefs, and you know those two teams don't like each other. And the late game, most of you will see Denver at New England, and it all starts with Jim Nantz and his partners. Yeah, kind of like Boomer and the Dion.
I like the shoes.
You like the shoes?
I'm not even sure what color, some sort of blue, electric blue, neon blue.
I'd stay with it, Norman. Bledsoe has to stay with it as his receivers were well covered, and he absorbs a gang tackling treatment as Zach Thomas was helping out his lineman coming in on a blitz.
Well, here's the coverage. It creates the sack. That's Reed going off to the inside. You see how he's blanketed by McGarrahan. And Drew Bledsoe, though, in a very veteran move. Doesn't force it. He just eats it, realizing a punt isn't the end of the world.
Gorman. High kick that Ward's going to field inside the 10 from the 6. And he makes it back to the 20-yard line. 54 on the punt, 14 on the return, and credit Anthony Denman with a special teams tackle. Buffalo still leads by 7. Former owner of the Dolphins, Joe Robbie, did a great job, didn't he? Beautiful football plant. 76,000 here, a sellout. As Ricky Williams with a first down and more. Finally, Nate Clements down low to get him down. Big hole for Williams.
Now right off the left side. He gets right in behind Jamie Nails. Rob Conrad goes through with a good lead block on London Fletcher. Marcus Spriggs, the left tackle, a couple former Bills on the left side, really opening things up, and a good job by Rob Conrad of getting through the traffic and finding the middle linebacker.
Williams again, nothing this time, so he has 73 yards today on 19 carries. They had hoped today that he might carry the ball some 30 times, in part because that would be the more conservative approach, and he could wear down this Bills defense. In the heat and humidity of South Florida, they figured to be tougher in that final quarter. They trail by 7.
Well, Ricky has to look around the huddle and say, hey, what happened to Chris? Where did Rondé go? And where's Jay? We're back to them losing 3 key components of their offense all in 1 week.
Numbers are just about the same offensively, but the 3 interceptions, and now almost the 4th. Keith Newman had it in his mitts, could not bring it home, as Pearson Prelo, the safety, on a blitz got to Lucas.
Well, he hit Lucas just as he was throwing the football. Let's watch it from behind. You see the pressure coming from the right. Here comes Prelo. Well, actually, he doesn't get hit until afterward. Did that ball just come out of his hands? Oh, no, it got hit at the line of scrimmage. It got hit right at the line of scrimmage. Prelo's hit, it wasn't until after Lucas released the ball, and then it got tipped at the line.
3rd down and 10. Blitz again. Prelo gets to him this time and logs the sack as Pearson Prelo, drafted by the 49ers 3 years ago out of Virginia Tech. And he's one of the young defenders that Greg Williams commented and complimented. They're improving with each game.
Well, you can see up front all the twisting and the stunning occupied all the Miami blockers. That's the way it's drawn up. Of course, Prelo's the beneficiary. He's untouched with the clean run at the quarterback.
Mark Royals to punt it to Charlie Rogers. Rogers stands at the Bills 35. Low kick toward the sidelines. Rogers pinned right there. Well done by the Dolphins special teams as Scott McGarrahan down first to make the tackle. And we have a timeout with the Bills leading by a touchdown. To the east, North Miami Beach. Aerial views courtesy of the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes. 42 years ago, 1960, when Goodyear first provided live aerial coverage at the Orange Bowl right here on CBS. Bledsoe extricates himself from a crowd and fires a short gainer to Travis Henry. Zach Thomas right there for Miami. That'll be 2nd down and about 5 on the play.
Well, how much fun is this for Scott McGarrahan of the Dolphins? He gets one clear out of bounds. He's trying to get back in. And you know what? He gets right down there and makes the play. Now that's how you earn your keep on special teams. 2nd and 5, Bledsoe. Over the middle, complete to Larry Centers, and the fullback has a first down at the 50-yard line. Moreland Greenwood, linebacker, makes the tackle. Well, no lack of confidence in the pocket by number 11. He's checking, looking to the right side, and then he goes ahead and checks down. And why not when you've got a target like Larry Centers? What a ball magnet number 37 is. That's a great call. 4 catches for him today. 784 in his career. Henry makes the corner again. Cuts back at the 25 and finally written down at the 17-yard line by Patrick Surtain. And what a block by center Trey T. Well, if you have success, come back to it. And Buffalo has shown that they're able to move the football to their left offensive side. And that's right where they go again. Again, Reuben Brown pulls out. The Teague block on the inside. Right there you see him get outside and make that block. And again, the contain is lacking on the right side of the Miami defense. I wouldn't be surprised to see Buffalo hammer away at it until Miami shows they can stop it.
And it's Henry again on a little draw, and he's to the 15-14 yard line. A gain of a couple more. He's over to the 100-yard mark once again. This second-year runner from the University of Tennessee, Travis Henry, not very tall, 5'9", but solidly built, 220 pounds.
Seems like 5'9" is the in height for running backs.
Priest Holmes.
Yeah, up in St. Louis, what's that guy's name? Marshall Falk?
Something Falk.
Yeah,
and
5'9".
Tomlinson's around 5'9" out in San Diego.
Exactly right.
But they're not little, they're just short. They're all over 200 pounds. Second down, Bledsoe. Lots of time. Throws to the end zone. Incomplete to Eric Moulds. Well, he threw it up where only Moulds could, at 6'2", get up above the defense and make the catch.
And Drew Bledsoe has been very public in saying that's the kind of a throw he'll try to Eric Moulds, but not to anybody else. And you were right on, Dick. Only Eric Moulds could go up and make that play, but it's still a risky throw into double coverage. But that's how much confidence he has in his Pro Bowl receiver.
Sam Madison, an excellent job, the Pro Bowler, to get his hand up and deny Moulds. 3rd and 8. Underneath, complete to Peerless Price, and Price short of the first down, tackled at the 9-yard line and sacked Thomas there with another hit.
Well, all you're hoping for in that completion is that your receiver can get enough yards after the catch to pick up the first down. Hard to do against one of the fastest defenses, if not the fastest defense in the NFL, with the Miami Dolphins. Their reaction time, their flowing to the football, they put multiple hats on the ball carrier.
Hollis, as you saw, hit from 46. This one will be about 27, depending on the spot, 26 or 27. Oh, what a good job by Mormon, not only to catch that snap and spin it in time to get the laces away from Mike Hollis. So the Bills now lead by 10. And welcome back. The Bills have opened a 10-point lead as you see a cleat change for Wally Ogunleye, the defensive end of the Dolphins. And Ray Lucas in the offense is going to get it back. And Lucas, of course, for the injured Jay Fiedler, working with wide receivers who haven't seen much duty this year as both starters out today. One of those, Gadsden, who may never play again for Miami, based on the news circulating. Here's Minor doing a great job. As everyone was looking for Buffalo for him to take the inside route, goes outside, and he's almost to midfield. And speaking of Oronde Gadsden, here's a late report from Bonnie Bernstein.
Well, Dick, I had a chance to talk with Gadsden before the game, and he told me he will definitely be testing the free agent waters in large part because, according to Gadsden, the Dolphins talked to his agent yesterday, offered him a 2-year contract extension, and the money, and this is Gadsden's quote, was barely minimum of what he thought he should receive since he's led the Dolphins in receiving the last 2 years. He said, and even worse, when I hung up the phone with them, they went after Chris Carter, so I know where their money's going. And that's one of the big reasons why Gadsden told me he'll have season-ending surgery on that left wrist on Tuesday or Wednesday.
All right, thanks for that report. Eddie Robinson was the build-up with a hand going for the interception. Ray Lucas says, all right, I hear the boos, but get back here. We're only down by 10. And his leadership, especially in that huddle, is admired by every one of the men in those white uniforms. But those numbers are discouraging, and the fans understandably unhappy here with the Finns down by 10. Williams on a draw plows to the 50, and London Fletcher, the 5'10" middle linebacker acquired from the Rams, makes the tackle.
Well, you heard Bonnie talking about Oronde Gadsden, and the contract negotiation with Gadsden's been going on for a long time, and money has always been the issue. He feels he's underpaid, and of course now that Chris Carter is going to come in, yes, that throws a lot of uncertainty into it for Rondé Gadsden. And you just, you know, with an injury like that, it's just impossible to know exactly what's right and what's wrong. He has to do what's best for himself.
There's a throw, and it's complete, and it's right at the yardsticks. Depending on the mark, is James McKnight in front of Nate Clements, and you see it's marked at the Buffalo 43.
Well, James McKnight, comfortable in number 80, which of course is Chris Carter's number. I have to see if Carter tries to buy it away from James McKnight. I suspect not. The ball almost came loose, and McKnight did a good job of bringing it back in.
He says that's a first down. They thought they got a bad spot. We'll see on the measurement. Well, speaking of numbers, Chris Carter, when he joins the Dolphins, if indeed he passes all the tests and they like the conversation, will bring some Hall of Fame numbers. Oh, that is as close as it gets there on the measurement. Nose of the ball almost tickling the yardstick, but it's short by the final length.
Well,
look at
that
those
measurement
numbers.
says it's a game of inches. With Chris Carter, it's a game of yards. 13,833 of them, to be precise. And look at where he ranks. Of course, you know that Jerry Rice is, when there's a second and a third, we know who's in number one. That's Jerry Rice, a certain Hall of Famer, and Chris Carter. And he's a resident of South Florida. He lives right around the corner, so the Dolphins won't even have to pay travel expenses for him to come in and take a physical.
That's important too.
Had to be one of the factors in their reasoning there, Dick. They're tough economic times.
Fourth down and an inch. And Dave Wanstead says, let's get the job done right here.
Geez, what do you know? Ricky Williams is in the game.
Wonder who will get it. Lucas actually is going to sneak it off his own left side and easily gets the necessary yardage.
Oh, now Ray, run your team, get back in the huddle. That's not the time to pick a fight with the Buffalo defense. And this is a good, he takes a clear step to the left and a good job of getting the body lean and really driving. But now down at the bottom, let's see, does somebody grab him? Does somebody do something? He probably didn't like Aaron Schobel coming in on top of him.
And Jenkins reaching in trying to strip the ball.
Hey, well, that, you know, that happens. That's part of the game.
First down at the 42. Back to throw into the flat, complete to Conrad, and the fullback has his first catch of the day, wrestled down by Eddie Robinson. Well, let's see what they're wrestling with in New York.
All right, Dick, in your distinguished career, you've seen numerous Denver, Kansas City classics. They have another one going today. It's Clinton Portis from 2 yards out, and they're tied at 20, late third quarter. Let's go back to Dick and Dan.
Hey, Jim, Dick was doing Denver games when they had the striped socks.
Yeah, those vertical striped socks. I wish I'd have kept a pair of those. They're probably worth a little on the internet.
Was Colorado a state when you were first there?
There's the give to Williams, and he's stacked up at the 35-yard line. And a reminder that the AFC non-playoff team, and what do you think? The one that last year was a disappointment, and we got a vote. Our first vote is in for the Chargers. The big surprise. Cast yours at NFL.com. And the Chargers will get that acid test today up in the Bay Area against the Oakland Raiders. Raiders can't be too happy a lot after what happened in St. Louis last week. Third down and 2.5. Lucas throws way short for Conrad as he was backpedaling under pressure from Keith Newman and Aaron Schobel.
Well, he never got a chance to set himself. Jerry Gray, the defensive coordinator, has been very effective coming with the different blitzes. And Ray Lucas, with pressure up the middle, had to float out of the pocket on his heels trying to complete it. There's Jerry Gray, the defensive coordinator, of course, a tremendous defensive back in his NFL career, mostly with the Rams. What a player he was, Dick.
You bet he was. 53-yard attempt, the same distance that Murray kicked the field goal in Denver, and it's a fake, and ahead goes the up back, and I don't know if he made it. It looks as if it's a bit short. Buffalo thinks they've turned it over.
as Dave Wanstead goes for the fake.
Well, the whole line was offset to the right. Nobody but the snapper, the holder, and the kicker were lined up in a kicking formation, and they lateral the snap over. We're seeing some exotic stuff here today.
And they got a pretty good spot out of it all, and now Miami feels they've made it. Robert Edwards, the ball carrier, as the up back, and Greg Williams didn't like the way they put the ball down the spot.
You don't see this very often. This goes way back. Here's the football right here. As you can see, the whole team, nobody but a snapper, a holder, and a kicker here, and they lateral the ball over. Buffalo did a very good job defensively of not being fooled by that and honoring their defensive responsibilities. Well done by the Bills.
Absolutely. That play looked as if it should have worked the way they had it set up, but Buffalo had the answer. They take over on downs. 2010, and Buffalo takes over on the failed fake field goal by Miami from the 33. Henry, a yard to the 34. Let's go back to that play.
Well, there had to be some confusion here with Buffalo. Ed Perry's here over the ball. Now, the one thing, look right here, Robert Edwards is facing it. You see he's not in his customary position, so it's pretty obvious that he's going to take the snap if anybody over there is. But Buffalo, given the fact a very unorthodox formation, defensively didn't panic. They stayed right with it, had a number of people in the proper positions, and made the play.
And that is the end of the third quarter here at Pro Players Stadium in South Florida. We'll return to Miami after this message and a word. Bledsoe underneath, and a good solid tackle by Zach Thomas on Fearless Price. It's Thomas's 10th tackle of this game.
Imagine that, coming to Miami and watching Zach Thomas run all around the field making plays. Check it out. Nothing new. Scraping right off his fellow teammates to make a play. Open field tackles. Great range for Zach Thomas. You'll see him make plays on the sidelines as well as you'll see him make plays in the middle of the field. It matters not to number 54. This guy is everywhere, and he's everything you got to love about the game of football.
On 3rd down and 5. Bledsoe caught by the shirt tail and written down from behind by Jay Williams as Williams logs the sack. Jason Taylor, the brother-in-law of Zach Thomas, was in there as well.
But you just don't see Drew Bledsoe trying to do anything foolish with the football. He shows his strength. I mean, a big guy at 6'5", 240, but no silly little flips of the ball, no forcing it into coverage. You have a lead, I take the sack, we punt. It's not that big a deal.
5th time that Bledsoe's been sacked today, 26 times this year. He does get hit a lot. Mormon just did get it away as Tommy Hendricks was in for the possible block. Diedrich Ward fair catch at the 15, and Miami has the ball. 4th quarter, 13:35 left. 2010 Buffalo, the scoring started when Lucas hit his tight end McMichael 4 yards for a touchdown.
And then Buffalo really did a good job coming back with the field goal, making it 7-3. But this was the backbreaker. The long pass to Eric Bold, 70 yards. Another field goal, and it has been Buffalo just capitalizing on Miami turnovers with Nate Clements having one fabulous day.
29-yard touchdown interception. He has 3 picks today to tie a Buffalo game record as Ricky Williams run out of bounds by Billy Jenkins, as Williams moving closer to that century mark today.
Yet for all the mistakes by the Miami Dolphins today, they still trail by but 10 points. With 13.5 minutes left in a football game, hardly an insurmountable deficit.
Well, in Clements' interceptions, one went for a touchdown. The other 2 were deep in Buffalo territory that would have been good at least for field goals, you would think. So those 3 picks have been most costly. Williams hammered by Eddie Robinson and company.
There are hits, and then there are big hits. And when you can be as far away from the field as we are here in the press box, and to hear them and almost feel them the way that was only for no gain. But Dick, Ricky Williams, there was some punishment going on both sides of the ball.
Williams now with 89 yards on 23 carries today. You know, when you're down on the field in here, though, it's frightening, the power and the sound of a tackle like that. Lucas, pump fake, wants something big,
Has to race and now throw out of bounds. Dedrick Ward wasn't even close.
And I don't know why Ray just didn't run for positive yardage. He had a chance to run with the football, and he is so good on his feet. He is so good in the open field running with the football. He had a chance, if not to get a first down, but at least pick up, 6, 7, 8 yards. Who knows? But why throw a ball that you know has no chance of completion? This ball goes way out of bounds. I guess the rust is still pretty thick.
Yeah, and in his 2 years in Miami until today's start, he had thrown only 3 passes last year. Throws this over the middle to Conrad, and the fullback is to the 36-yard line, 1.5 yards short of a first down. London Fletcher made the stop. Well, tonight after 60 minutes, folks, stay tuned. Becker is a real man who does what he wants as long as his new girlfriend says it's okay. And then from the producers of Frasier comes the terrific new comedy Bram and Alice. Don't miss an all new episode, Becker and Bram and Alice, tonight after 60 minutes on CBS. Jay Fiedler, oh, what a courageous effort last week. I mean, a painful big knot, broken thumb, still played the final 3 minutes and led his team to victory with that Maury field goal in the final seconds. Lucas, pump fake and throw. Incomplete, and Clemens had his hands on number 4. There it is.
He still can't get it. Oh, and the Boo Birds start letting Ray Lucas hear it. Ray's trying to find the ball to Robert Baker. And keep in mind that before today's game, Robert Baker was the 5th receiver on this team.
Just a special teams guy.
Yeah, again, throwing into coverage. Ray Lucas and this Miami offense really will benefit so hugely from the bye coming up, Dick. They'll get Chris Carter in here, hopefully, and then they'll have 2 weeks to work on getting Ray settled.
Mark Royal sends a boomer to Charlie Rogers. Rogers at the 20. Oh, he was close to breaking that one. Tackled at the 25 after a 15-yard return. Greenwood in on the stop along with David Bowens. Timeout. 11:26 left in this fourth quarter as Drew Bledsoe and the Bills start at the 25. Underneath, incomplete, off the hands of Josh Reed as Zach Thomas in the middle of the action once again. Well, see why CBS Monday is America's best night of television, starting with The King of Queens, then Yes Dear, Everybody Loves Raymond, and the funniest new comedy of the year still standing. Then it's TV's most watched news show, CSI Miami, plus The Late Show, David Letterman, all Monday nights here on CBS, America's most watched network. Henry up the middle, and good coverage there. Looked to be a nice hole for Henry, but slashing in from the side was Rob Burnett to make the stop. Burnett, who toiled with Cleveland and then Baltimore, and always, coaches praise this guy. He's just one of those players invaluable in so many ways, not only on the field but in the locker room, practice. A great example player. 13 years out of Syracuse. Third down conversions for Buffalo today, 2 of 9. Incomplete, and Patrick Surtain, and now a flag comes down. They say he may have used the free hand to get around Peerless Price.
You can make contact with the free hand, but do you move the receiver with it?
Pass interference. 23. Defense. First down.
That's the issue. You can make contact with that hand, but do you turn the receiver? Do you in some way? And right there you see Surtain. Yes, he did. He got the right hand inside, and then he spins Price around with it. He took it off as he came in on that replay. The hand was already coming off, but prior to that was what drew the flags.
Meanwhile, Rob Burnett being attended as they're looking at that right leg of the veteran defensive end of the Dolphins.
And that flag, by the way, there were 2 flags thrown by 2 separate officials that both had a good look at it.
And with 10:35 left, that means Buffalo has the ball again. A holding penalty keeps the ball in Buffalo's hands and a chance to chew up the time in the fourth quarter. 10:35 left. Buffalo leading 20-10. First down at the 34. Screen incomplete to Henry. Jason Taylor in to force Bledsoe to throw around him. Well, Wednesdays on CBS, only The Amazing Race combines barrels of wine and sports and a car chase through Europe for the adventure of a lifetime. And that's just the beginning, Dan. An all-new Amazing Race Wednesday on CBS, America's most watched network.
Broke my heart when they dropped that wine.
Yeah, we got to do something about that. That is a fumble. Henry slips and falls in the backfield at the 31-yard line. That may have been a fumble, but here's a completion from Miami to New York.
All right, thank you. And it's Priest Holmes here, Dick and Dan in the end zone for the third time today. He's also over 100 yards. The first back to go for over 100 against Denver since Holmes did it last year in the regular season. Let's go back to you.
All right, Jim. He's amazing. That gives him 14 touchdowns this year, Priest Holmes. Scoring machine.
He only led the league in rushing last year. That was so much for a sophomore jinx after a season like that.
Third and long for Bledsoe. Chased out of the pocket. And there's no one open downfield. And he, at the last minute before hitting the sidelines, threw the ball down. And may have saved a few yards on the incomplete pass.
Again, Drew being very deliberate, very cautious with the football, forced out of the pocket late. He had plenty of time to find somebody downfield, but this Miami secondary, and you're right, he saved a couple of yards just by chucking the ball up by the line of scrimmage.
Robert Baker will get a chance to return this punt.
But what Bledsoe is doing is he's saying that Miami's going to have to go a long ways if they're going to score. I'm not going to make it cheap.
Ryan Morman. Very high. Baker, fair catch at the 18-yard line.
When you can punt like that and pin a guy within 2 yards of the sidelines, that's a perfect punt.
Pearson Prelo, the starting safety there on the coverage, and we have a timeout. 9:33 left in the fourth. Beach, but you know, temptation, it grabs us all.
Yeah. Maybe 20 years ago.
Lucas to work. He's down by 10. And that pass too short, trying to hit James McKnight. Well, Brian Moorman, maybe the sound of the ball hitting his foot is deafening.
He wears earplugs. Just complimented him on that fabulous punt, pinning Miami against the sidelines. But he's wearing earplugs.
John Carney, the place kicker, has been wearing earplugs for a long time. Said he didn't want to hear the taunts of the defense or the crowd.
That punishing life as a punter. Oh, how do they survive?
Somebody's got to do it.
What admiration.
Lucas stepping away from pressure. Now he's got running room. 20. This is what he does very well. Slides at the 35 with a first down. That'll turn the boos to cheers.
Well, Ray's had several opportunities to do this earlier in the game and chose to throw the ball instead. But Dick's right. This is what Ray Lucas can do. He can really scoot. Jay Fiedler very mobile in the pocket. And Jay could run as well, but not quite as well as Ray Lucas. This guy's dangerous coming out of the pocket.
That was for 17 yards. Gives him 18 for the day. The toss is to Ricky Williams. Boy, you give him a head of steam turning the corner, and London Fletcher had to really be braced for that contact.
Maybe a good thing for both of them it didn't happen. Huge hole here on the pitch to Ricky Williams. London Fletcher, number 59, over pursues the play. He's able to get back in on it, but London just about a yard too quickly to the outside allowed Ricky the cutback.
2nd and 2. Williams 3 yards from 100. Denied there. No gain. As Keith Newman, the fourth-year backer from North Carolina, with a solid shoulder tackle.
Another one of those big hits we've been experiencing all day long when Miami's got the ball and Buffalo's playing defense. And that That is just ideal by Keith Newman. He got underneath the shoulder pads of Ricky Williams. Ricky Williams, his pads were higher than normal. Keith Newman got underneath and up. That's just a beautiful tackle.
3rd down 2. Empty backfield, and Lucas looks for Williams in the flat, finds him. 1st down and more. Written down at the 35 of Buffalo by Pearson Prelo.
And I'm sure Prelo right now is going, how can a guy this big, this muscular, be this quick? Because Ricky Williams almost juked Prelo and got away from him altogether. Now Jenkins at first misses a tackle, and now it's up to Prelo, and he does a good job breaking down, and he almost got away from him. And Prelo, I think, got away with a little face mask at the very end of that tackle.
22-yard gain on the pass play. 1st down at the Buffalo 35. 6:52 left. Fumble, and it goes to Buffalo as on the exchange, London Fletcher finds the ball flying right in his lap as Ricky Williams unable to take the ball cleanly from his quarterback.
Ray Lucas stumbled coming out from under center. You could see Ray Lucas was stumbling as he was trying to make the exchange with Ricky Williams. I don't know if he just, let's watch this, but you can see right there something caused Ray Lucas to stumble and dip as he was trying to make the handoff.
Well, you know, the numbers don't.
Dick, he got the ball there. It looked like like Williams was either in the wrong place, or Williams or Lucas didn't get to where he was supposed to be. But that looked really poor from the very beginning, from the snap of the ball.
Look at that turnover.
Oh, that's
5 for Miami. Turnovers, 5 takeaways for Buffalo. They had only 4 in the first 6 games of the season, and 5 today. And that one of those that, as Prelo said, we got to start being luckier. You know, lucky, get a lucky carom. That was one of those that bounced right in their lap.
You're right, but you'd think this would be a 3 or 4 touchdown game.
Gives us a chance to go to New York and Jim Nantz.
All right, guys, you're going to like this little fake at the back end of this touchdown. It's Greasy getting the Broncos back within 7 to Sharp. And here comes the Sharpie fake. There's nothing in there, but they are back within 7. 34-27 with 10 minutes to play. Kansas City, back to you.
Shannon Sharp.
Sharp going for the Sharp.
Look at that. Look at,
we got it. We got it.
All right. Shannon's had a big day today for the Denver Broncos back in that orange and blue. 20-10 and a big turnover here as Buffalo protecting a 10-point lead, and we're under 7 minutes to go. Team who wins the turnover battle when these two clubs meet is victorious 10 of the last 11 games, and Buffalo obviously is going to have that advantage today. 5-love at the point. Bledsoe not staying on the ground, dips it out, incomplete to Travis Henry with Zach Thomas there. Well, tonight on CBS, don't miss 60 Minutes, and then 60 Minutes of comedy with an all-new Becker and the new comedy Bram and Alice. Then the CBS Sunday movie, Dancing at the Harvest Moon. That's all tonight on CBS, America's most watched network.
I think you've got to pass a few bouquets to the Miami defense in a 5-turnover game it's still just a 10-point contest. It's still a winnable game for the Miami Dolphins. And you'd think, how could that be possible? 5 turnovers to none.
Triple right formation for Bledsoe. And he was trying to get Henry to move upfield, but could not. And then points at his pursuer, Wally Ogunleye. He said maybe you got a late hit there, but no flag.
Again, Drew Bledsoe, as has happened so many times this game, can't find anybody downfield. Everybody's blanketed over here. His receiver here covered up. And again, he just takes off with the football, is not being careless, and just throws it away before he takes the sack. Drew Bledsoe is being very efficient. He's under pressure, facing outstanding coverage, but he has played oh so smart.
On 3rd and 10. Back to throw again. Goes long, but nobody downfield. And up comes 4th down and 10. Eric Moulds had cut off his pattern short, and Bledsoe goes long. So they didn't consume much time
in that short series. There's still 6.5 minutes to go for Miami.
And one more time, Miami defensively is keeping this ball club in the game.
And so is Buffalo's defense when you consider that the best performance this year. They allowed Houston 24 points last week.
Right. But this is a crippled Miami offense.
Absolutely. Yep. You take the quarterback and the starting receivers out of any lineup and you're going to have some difficulty as Mormon sends it to the sidelines and Robert Baker watches it go out of bounds inside the 30. At the 28.
The crowd wanting a flag on the bunt. The crowd wants anything. They're looking for any advantage they can get.
Greg Williams said, I've got the offensive firepower and my defense is young, but they're getting better every week. He's very encouraged. Monday on the Late Show with David Letterman, you won't want to miss Jack Hanna and his animals, plus a one-of-a-kind Civil War reenactment on 53rd Street. That's Monday on Dave.
A lot of battles been fought on 53rd Street, but I'm not sure any of them were in the Civil War, were they?
I was wondering, is that a rally monkey that Dave has on there that we see every week? I wonder if that is. I know he was an Angel fan. Lucas throwing long, and well covered was the intended receiver Robert Baker by Chris Watson. Let's go down to B square.
Well, Dick, London Fletcher had that fumble recovery, and if you're looking for somebody who's had a change of scenery and a positive effect, look no further from him. I remember talking to him last year, and he said, it's hard for me to go to work with St. Louis thinking that I'm working so much harder than the rest of my teammates. Here, if we're struggling on defense, it's because we're young and we're still learning, but there's so much passion here. And in fact, Greg Williams said, you know, a lot of times in practice, I like to go into the huddle to fire the defense up. I can't do that with London because unquestionably, it's his defense.
What a personality, too, London Fletcher. As Lucas, as he hit as he throws, complete to Diedrich Ward. And Ward down at the 35-yard line as Lucas was hammered by Ron Edwards. Holding Dolphins.
I don't think anybody can even breathe.
Holding, 76, offense. Still second down.
Of questioning Ray Lucas's toughness. He has been drilled. He got hammered early in the game with a stinger. It looked like he wasn't going to be able to play, and no chance to protect yourself. The full weight of Ron Edwards comes right down on top of him, and on top of it all, Marcus Spriggs gets called for the hold, and now it's second and long.
Knocked down 9 times today.
Okay.
Second down and long. Lucas incomplete, and his receiver Ward really hadn't turned to look at the ball. Eddie Robinson had zeroed in. So you can just see they're out of sync, that the articulation between passer and receiver. These are fellas that normally aren't on the field together, only scout team players during practice weeks.
Well, the only good thing you could say about that going in is we see that Diedrich Ward doesn't even turn around, but he's the one guy that has a history with Ray Lucas. Their years together with the New York Jets, and Ray was very confident in being able to find Ward on the field. For the life of me, I can't imagine why he wasn't looking for the ball.
3rd and 20. Underneath, incomplete. Robert Edwards tried to run before he pulled it in, and fans are unhappy here in Dolphin country.
Yeah, there's enough frustration to go around. Imagine how everybody, and Ray is just thinking to himself, how can this be happening? That's a ball where it looked like he just held on to it just a little too much. He was trying to guide it so much that he kept his grip on the ball and actually just threw it right, the nose of it right into the ground.
So Royals to punt it off the side of his foot to Rodgers, a short kick at the 45. Rodgers to the Miami 49. So great field position for Bledsoe and the Bills with a 10-point lead, and now trying to use some time. 5:19 left in the 4th quarter. Well, you can forget about skateboards and your bungee cord, Dan, and even the parachutes you've been dreaming about. It's real life extreme sports when top bull riders risk their life and limb at the Columbus Bud Light Cup. That's great sports action. And for more, you can go to CBSSportsline.com. America Online, keyword CBS Sportsline.
The toughest 8 seconds in sports.
What would it take for you to get on that one of those Brahmas, huh?
A death wish. That's your.
I was thinking more I could be the clown to try to chase the bull away after he knocked you down.
That might be the only case where you could actually say I was abusing the bull just by sitting.
Travis Henry, good point, gains a yard. Well, next Sunday, it's the CBS doubleheader. There's the early games. We'll be pleased to be out at Arrowhead to see the Raiders and Chiefs renew that intense rivalry. And Denver at New England, most of you will see that. Houston, Jacksonville, the other late game. And, of course, it all begins, starts the day, middle of the day, halftime, and they close out the day with all the score lights, scores, and highlights. Well, score lights, that's good. It's a contraction.
I like it.
Catch the score lights.
An economy of words. I like it.
311 yards passing on the season, but Bledsoe, except for that 70-yard pass, has really been held in check. Henry hasn't, and Travis Henry close to a first down at the 39-yard line as he continues to pile up yardage on the ground. He's over 600 yards for the season.
Pretty sure he's got it. That was a real delay. Travis Henry getting the ball, but by that time his offensive line had cleared the way.
126 yards, as you can see, on just 17 carries for Henry, who was the high school Florida Player of the Year at Frostproof, Florida, his senior season before heading on to Tennessee. Henry again, just a couple this time, and Miami's going to spend a timeout as it's clicked down to 3:44 remaining in the fourth. That's their first timeout. Well, the head coach Greg Williams said that he's going to be very patient with the defense. He said sometimes he grits his teeth so hard he needs a mouthpiece himself because they are young. They have made mistakes, but what he has felt best about is that some of the young guys, like the safeties, Prelo and Wire, they don't repeat the mistake. He said, I can see improvement. I know I can outscore some folks if we can just get that defense to chip in and do their best, and that was the case in the second half last week in the Houston win, and certainly it's been the case throughout this game today.
No, you're right, and what he's also accomplished, he along with his team, is that they've brought Miami back into the hunt in the AFC East. Miami came into this weekend with a 2-game lead in the AFC East. If they go on and win this game, Buffalo's going to go to 4-3. Miami back to 5-2, only a 1-game lead now.
Henry cutting back and toppled at the 35-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down and 6, and Miami will spend its second timeout. .30-second timeout. Take a look at the team leaders. Bledsoe only 166 yards, 70 on the one long touchdown pass to Eric Moulds, but no interceptions. And here's the man that has taken on Ricky Williams on the same field and certainly has offered a shining afternoon of play. 130 yards for Travis Henry.
And Eric Moulds, as you've heard, all of that 70 yards on the one reception. And the Travis Henry yardage is really what has, I think, floored Miami. They didn't think that Buffalo could run the ball on them like that, Dick. Really, when you look at Drew Bledsoe, he's throwing at less than 50%. That's how good the coverage has been, by and large, by this Dolphins defense.
And this is the man, as you can see, growing a beard, that leads the NFL quarterbacks in passing yardage coming in, over 2,000 yards in 6 games.
Hit as he throws, but gets it away accurately and complete to Larry Centers.
And Centers, the sagacious veteran, cuts back inside to the 18-yard line and a first down. Brock Marion finally with a tackle.
So Drew Bledsoe not shy about standing in the pocket, waiting for somebody to come open, or working through his reads, progressing from 1 to 2 to 3, even to 4 if he has to. Jason Taylor says Drew Bledsoe will stand back there and just squeeze the ball. He'll squeeze the air out of the darn thing before he throws it.
And Jason Taylor hit him. It looked as if he might throw him off target. Did not on that last play. Down to 2:52, 2:50 left in the fourth. Henry back in. He stacked up after a 1-yard gain. And a reminder, coming up on the Subway postgame show, Jim Dion, Dan and Boomer, special guest Tiki Barber of the Giants. So we'll have all of today's scores and highlights of the early games and set you up for late action here on CBS. And Miami has spent its final timeout at the 2:39 mark. Well, the fans up in Western New York have to be excited about what Drew Bledsoe has meant to this Buffalo team. It's just as if it's a whole new life for this football franchise.
The day Drew was traded back on April the 21st. I think Buffalo sold 1,500 season tickets just on the news of Bledsoe's arrival, and just talk about a win-win deal. Yeah, and you can see he's got the old facial hair started. He's not a beard kind of guy, but the offensive line, Reuben Brown kind of got us started. He wanted everybody on the offense to grow a beard. Well, some of them were challenged, though, Dick.
Yeah, Fearless Price, he came into our meeting and he said, I've been trying to grow a beard. He said, maybe they could paint one on me. He said, I just can't grow facial hair.
No, it's not happening for Fearless.
In the spirit of things, and of course Bledsoe, there's all that camaraderie, quarterback and offensive line, trying to be part of that team. As Henry skirting the right side, he's in the open and inside the 5-yard line. It's 1st and goal, Buffalo. Derek Rogers got him out of bounds. There's a flag down. Boy, he has a little second gear, doesn't he?
He sure does.
Accelerates, but it'll be called back on the hold. Henry, who claims, even though a Floridian, that he grew up a Buffalo Bills fan.
An escape to Knoxville.
Holding, 88, offense, still 2nd down.
Tight end Corey Geeson with the hold.
Well, let's follow Travis Henry. We're looking for number 88 as he comes in. You see him right in the middle of your screen right there. Oh, that's a good one, too. That was very good as he just gobbled up the jersey of McGunley.
Well, after the penalty, the ball at the 27-yard line. 2.5 minutes to go. Back to Henry. Runs into his own blockers and gains maybe a yard to the 27-yard line, and that'll take it up to the 2-minute warning as Miami has exercised all 3 of its timeouts in the second half.
Well, this will make the flight back to Buffalo a joyous one for this Bills team. This will put them into the winning numbers now at 4-3. And again, they're only 1 game now behind the Miami Dolphins. So it is a horse race now in the AFC East.
20-10 Buffalo. To Nate Clements, 3 interceptions. The running of Travis Henry. 20-10 the score Buffalo. Our aerial shots courtesy of the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes, based in Pompano Beach, Florida. The controls today, Captain Larry Chambers. Buffalo with 2 minutes to go, and Miami, all of its timeouts gone. 3rd and long, and Henry to the 26-yard line, and Greg Williams sends out Mike Hollis in the field goal unit. And Dan, one of the charms about this season as we watch it unfold is the fact that games like this, young Buffalo comes down here. You figure Miami, even with the injuries, the team that's 5-1 would continue to hold on to a big lead in the AFC East.
Well, when you put this in perspective for Buffalo, Dick, I can't help but start at the fact they were 3-13 a year ago, and what strides they have made in just the span of 1 football season. This team is about as far removed from a 3-13 team as you can possibly imagine.
And they're without their top cornerback. Antoine Winfield today as timeout is called. And how about that big right tackle from Texas, their #1 draft pick? So it's not as if Buffalo wasn't without some of their main characters as well today.
I was really looking forward to watch Mike Williams play right tackle. That was my old position. Of course, he's a wee lad at 6'6", 370 pounds. And Greg Williams, the head coach, was telling us, he said, it really kind of took my breath away one time. I was looking at my offensive lineman sitting there, and I'm looking at Reuben Brown, and I know that this guy is Mike Williams, and I'm going, well, who's that little guy sitting next to Mike Williams? And, of course, it's his 300-pound-plus Pro Bowl guard in Reuben Brown. And he said, my God, he made Reuben look like a little guy.
A 44-yard attempt by Hollis as they let the clock run down to 1:17. Hollis has made his first 2, and he, like Clemens, is 3 for 3. So Hollis, one of the additions, and Greg Williams brought that up in our conversation yesterday after the 3:13 flying home. One of the first thoughts in his mind was, we've got to get ourselves a reliable field goal kicker. Hollis is the man.
And they did.
Well, coming up on the Subway post-game show, Jim, Dion, Dan, Boomer, I don't know how they're going to do it. Tiki had to leave early, but you're going to get all the scores and highlights on the Subway post-game show following the final gun here today. And those are the smiles of a visiting team that comes into a tough place to play against an outstanding team.
Especially if you're Buffalo. You know, at the beginning, we chronicled their lack of success down here over the years. Any win here is well earned.
Total yards, only 10 yards difference between the Bills and the Dolphins, but look at those big 5 turnovers.
That's the story of the game. 17 points for the Bills off of 3 of those turnovers, a couple touchdowns and a field goal. And Drew says, hey, I'll go a few rounds with you, Reuben. See, Reuben saying it's because of the beard. You're growing the beard, that's why.
Maybe I should grow one. As soon as I get through puberty, I'm going to try.
No, Dick.
Hollis to kick it off.
No, don't.
Very, very, very high and short at the 16, Travis Minor. And Minor out to the 33-yard line and rejected there by Philip Crosby and company. Now 1:05 to go, and Ray Lucas back on the field.
Now, this is not how Ray Lucas envisioned his day unfolding. Certainly not his fault. Gobbled up at the beginning of the game, planted, hit. This guy's been hit from every angle, from every direction. And Jay, I know we're all rooting for Jay Fiedler to get well soon. I think we're rooting for Ray Lucas to get well too. He has taken a real physical beating today. He hasn't played very well. And what's really fortunate for Miami is the bye coming up.
The bye week has come at exactly the right time for Wannstedt. Underneath, another interception on the deflection. Keith Newman, the linebacker at the 20, and out of bounds. Check that, Eddie Robinson picks it off, and the veteran from Alabama State has his first interception of the season, his career number 6. So the deflection, and that's exactly what the Bills were talking about. Not only did we not have interceptions, we ought to get lucky. One of those just bounces in the air should come to us, shouldn't it? Well, it has today.
Well, this one most certainly did. Only looking at trying to make a 5-yard pass, he puts it right on the hands of Robert Edwards. And Edwards not able to handle it. Didn't even look like he was ready for it. We have seen more confusion today between the Dolphin receivers and their quarterback as far as where the ball is going to be, and acting surprised that the ball is coming their way, and a couple of them, Dick, didn't even turn around to look for it.
6 games, no interceptions. 1 game, 5 interceptions. Now that's just why they made that ball long and oblong and crazy, so it wouldn't bounce in a consistent manner.
Talk about getting off the snide, though. Wow. That's, you know, that pads your stats, doesn't it? It'll be a partying time for the Bills secondary and linebacker core on their way back.
And they'll go home, will the Buffalo Bills, to meet the Detroit Lions next weekend, and then New England, 2 home games. And folks up there at Ralph Wilson Stadium will be in a very happy mood. As we take a quick look now as the adjusted AFC East, Miami falls to 5-2. Buffalo moves within a game of the lead, and New England Patriots sitting at home on a bye week have to look at that and say, maybe things aren't so dismal after all.
Greg Williams and the Buffalo Bills come to Miami and defeat the Dolphins 20-10, and they do it with defense. One of those interceptions for a touchdown by Nate Clements. Stay tuned for the Subway postgame show. They'll bring you up to date in New York on all the scores and the highlights. So for Dan Deerdorf and Bonnie Bernstein, this is Dick Enberg at Pro Players Stadium in South Florida. Thank you for being with us. You've been watching the NFL on CBS.